Okay, we're going live in 3, 2, 1. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first ever live chit chat for Ascendance of a Bookworm light novel. Hooray, everybody. Welcome and thank you for making it here on time for all of you here. Special greetings to everybody who was early gang and also the Discord peeps. Say hello, everybody on Discord.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the 6-hour event.
To the 6-hour event.
Well, we have bets running as to how long this is gonna take. I don't know how long it's gonna take. We may be here for 3 hours. I'm hoping we can get through this book in 3 hours. Hoping I can. Don't laugh. But we have done chit chats that have taken, I don't know, more than 5 hours. So prepare your
minutes.
Yes, prepare yourselves, and yeah, I'm ready to have fun and cover this volume. Again, I just want to say hello to the people in the chat and anybody who is actually on the Discord and who hasn't joined the chat, the voice chat. Come on over. Come on, Eric Ford. I know you're with us. You were the latest of our members, and I see you on the chat, on the YouTube chat. So if you can, and if you're not too bashful to make yourself heard, do join us. For now,
You just called them out like that?
I did just call him out like that because what's not to love about joining us? I want to understand why you wouldn't join us if you can. So unless you're working or whatever, then life takes precedence. So let's do this. I'm gonna say hello to people in the chat. And yes, I'm gonna say hello to the early gang and then to the latest. So hello to John Sims. Hey, I don't know how early you were in there, but congratulations on being the very first one on the chat. Monica Rosalie Mullings, hello. Hi, hope to see you later. Hope that you're here now. I'm watching you people, says the tension. And yes, indeed, just waiting takes some energy, it's kind of, I'm glad that you're able to make it though. Hopefully you're here. Eric Ford says hi Magpie, and Amy says hello. Thomas 70, Ontario represented. Oh, there you go.
Ontario?
Canada gang, rise up and say hi.
Canada gang.
Hello.
There you go. There's the Canada gang with all that enthusiasm. Now California gang, where are you? And well, here I am. And of course we have Europe gang, East Coast gang. We're here all represented. Let's go early gang. That's all that matters. So let's see who else. Oh, there you go. Honor Wolf making himself heard on the chat by purchasing a super chat thing. So thank you again, Honor Wolf, and again, you are honorary California gang. Yes. All right. So I think we're gonna get a lot more people here. Oh,
Wait, honorary? I was born there.
Yes. Okay. You are definitely Californian. Yes. There you go.
I mean, I may be a Vermonter at heart, but I was born there.
Yes, you are indeed. So remove the honorary. You're definitely Californian. There we go. Jesse Fergie says on the chat, we're polite Canadians, not enthusiastic. Oh, so that's how it wants to be. Oh, and
your flag proud.
okay. And then Eric Ford says, LOL, I want to be Cali gang until I'm at Disneyland next week. So, ooh, I hope you enjoy Disneyland. It's an experience. I haven't gone in like 10 years, so I don't know how crazy it must be now, but it was fun.
I've never gone in my life.
Oh, well, when you do, it'll be a dream come true, or maybe not.
Definitely.
I don't know. I enjoy Disney stuff, so. All right, so hello to Aussies on the chat. Katami, Noodle Dumplings Kimchi, New York gang is here. And Nat Trip says hello and greetings everyone. Lucky to be notified of going live. Happy to have you here. And okay. So it is 3:05. Shall we wait for more people to join or shall we start? I just want to know if we're ready to go Or let's
I
see.
think we could do prologue.
Yeah, we should probably do prologue because prologues prologues usually take us half an hour to talk about. Okay, so let's see what our record is. Let's not do half-hour prologue.
Let's do an hour prologue. You're right. We should do an
No.
I'm predicting it right now. That the POV for Trashland's going to be an hour.
Oh, yes.
Really?
Oh, that was
At least.
a lot of stuff going on. Okay. So let's get this started. I hope you guys, if you want to follow along with me, I'll put the outline on the screen, but it's also as a Google document, courtesy of Crazy Maton, who did it all and saved me so many hours of work. Crazy. Thank you so much for doing this for us all.
I mean, he is crazy.
I simply finished it. You started it with the first chapters.
I did 3 chapters.
I did the rest of the 21 or whatever.
Okay. So thank you for your help. Okay. I know you're being bashful, but okay, yes. Thank you for your help in completing the outline. Thank you. All right. So let's get this started by, of course, talking about the prologue. So, oh my, what is this? Hold on a sec. Let me rectify the situation here. Oh my.
What's the situation?
Panic.
Yes, panic. Panic in the...
Panic.
Mm-hmm.
Panic at the Disco?
Panic at the Disco, yes. Hold on a sec. My outline view is not cooperating, so let me just get...
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh, we just started.
I know,
Panic.
huh? Panic. Let's see.
No stream is complete without technical
I
difficulties.
know, but I was hoping that it would be done. It would be fixed already. Oh man. All right. Well, while I fix it, meanwhile, I just wanna let me just put that thingy while I try to fix this thing. Whatever. Again, thank you to all the Ko-fi members and who have made this possible. So, man, I wish I could edit stuff without showing you guys how I do it, but I'm still a newbie. So you guys are just gonna have to see me fix things, okay? I'm so sorry. It's highly embarrassing, but let's do this. The outline. Basically, we do this. Outline.
Technical difficulties.
Yes, but don't worry, it'll be fixed soon. Okay, there we go. All right, the outline is up there, so we are good. So let's talk about A Sense of a Bookworm, part 5, volume 6, and the blurb goes as follows. The Archduke Conference has come to an end, but Ehrenfest's archducal family is still reeling from the fresh troubles it brought. As if a surprising ceremony and the sovereign temple schemes weren't unusual enough, Rozemyne manages to deliver the killing blow with a truly unexpected announcement. My current adoption is being nullified, and the king will take me as his daughter instead. Chaos ensues, but what is done cannot be undone. Rozemyne has 1 year before she must depart for the sovereignty, 1 year to tie up so many loose ends. But she needs not act alone. Forge ahead and never lose sight of who you are, her noble mother Elvira tells her, watching affectionately as her daughter prepares for the road ahead. There's so much to be done in this newest volume of this biblio-fantasy. Those in Rozemyne's service have an important choice to make, and their decisions will open doors for the future. So, everybody, we are now ready to talk about this wonderful, beautiful chapter. This wonderful, beautiful book. So there's a blurb. Any comments about the blurb? Again, it's kind of sort of spoilery, but it's not too bad. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? We only have, this is an Ehrenfest book, and usually they tend to be like kind of laid back, but unlike usual Ehrenfest books, I feel like there were plenty of important things going on in this one. So we're going to talk about each and every one of them. Let's start with Florencia point of view. Ooh, okay. So Florencia point of view is, of course, a prologue. And we have Following the events of the Archduke Conference, Florencia ponders on what is to become of Wilfried now that his engagement with Rozemyne is cancelled. So Bonifacius this is the update. So Bonifacius has totally given up on Wilfried. You know, the volume before in the prologue, he had threatened to give up on him. But in this volume, we know that he's already given up on him. During the time that the Archduke Conference happened, Wilfried just didn't manage to get his act together, so bye-bye. And, you know, Wilfried is glad that his education has been halted, or he's acting like it. Now, we also learned that Wilfried has been asking for the engagement to be cancelled. And, you know, he's been saying, like, why isn't Rozemyne of course, they can't tell her why. And also, we learned that he is still in touch with Oswald and being manipulated by Bartold. We'll talk more about that situation, of course, in a little bit. So we also learned that regarding Rozemyne, she doesn't feel that Rozemyne is ready to be the king's adopted daughter. She and Sylvester talk about how her attitude is. You know, Rozemyne is emotional and she gets carried away by the things that she deems important. And, you know, when you're a royal, this whole country should be important, you know, not just your duchy or your family. So Rozemyne is failing on that score, I suppose. But, you know, they can't do anything about it now. And Florencia can't help her with her mood because she's going to have her baby soon. So Sylvester just tells her, you know, leave it all to Elvira to help her real mom. Sylvester thinks, you know, everything's going to be all right. We're just going to focus on our problems and everything will sort itself out. Of course, he's being super optimistic, as always. And finally, Florencia mentions that she wants to curb the power of the lazy gangs before Rozemyne leaves in order to protect Wilfried. Now, she just said that, but we don't know exactly what her plan is. We don't know until much, much later. But it's her intent for now. So anyway, any thoughts about this chapter, everybody?
I just want to point out that the previous volumes have had little snippets of Wilfried being more and more combative towards Rozemyne, with the initial seed being planted by actually Oswald, and then his match with Torrential's Archduke candidate.
Oswin.
Ortwin.
Yes,
Yeah,
Ortwin, when
yeah.
they were playing their little board game. Essentially asking him, are you sure you're not bothered by the fact that Rozemyne is wearing charms made by his guardian and not him? Implying that as her fiance, that he should be fulfilling that role to begin with.
Yeah. And what did you guys think about the whole situation with Florencia? Like, there's also the relationship that Florencia has with her children. You know, she's much closer to Charlotte and Melchior because, you know, she was allowed to raise them. But with Wilfried, I kind of feel like she's gonna try to overcompensate for him. I don't know. I kind of get that vibe. Like, I know she's a mother, but like, I think in a way they're always like giving him, like letting him have the easy way out. But in this case, like there's a lot of stuff going on. And of course, being a mother, she's going to care for her child and that's going to be her priority. Rozemyne, unfortunately, was never given the opportunity to be a mother to Rozemyne. So, Rosemyne's just going to have to be taken care of by Elvira. And that's, it's like, oh, well, what else is new, right? I remember this meme that always comes up, of course. It's the one where it says, like, anytime there's a Florencia point of view, like, people are always saying, like, come on, do something, right? So I'm showing the meme, of course, on the screen. So, what else do you guys want to say about this chapter?
He's still in contact with Oswald? What?
Yeah. That was,
Like,
It's more
honestly,
like indirectly through Barthold, I think it was.
but the fact that he even still can like have a conversation with Oswald is horrible for Wilfried. Like Wilfried, as much as like he can make progress eventually, that is not gonna help him with her progress and redeeming his character anytime soon. And also the fact that like everyone keeps babying him and like putting him in a protective shell because he was raised by Veronica, and basically they're like, oh, but he was raised by Veronica, like we need to like protect him. He's gonna be the next Archduke. We have to protect him and everything. So like he's never really learned much, and always just stayed stagnant. Even if he's an honor student, he might have learned like in the schooling part, but he never learned how to deal with serious situations, and like that sometimes your retainers don't act in your favor and they in what is their best interest, and he needs to get a reality check.
Yes.
Fast.
Yeah. Eric Ford has a great point in the chat. Says again, his parents failed to remove the seeds of chaos among his retainers for fear of disturbing their nepo baby's life.
As a nepotism.
Oh, okay. Nepo baby's life. Wow. Today I learned something. But can send so many to the distant heights. So yes, here's my issue with him. It shows up in the future parts of this book and maybe other volumes. I don't even know at this point. My head is just... But here's this point. Like, they want him to have a learning experience, to learn to see problems and to deal with them himself. So they're giving him hints, but they're not telling him outright, like, yo, like, this is bad and this is what they're doing. So... just great big sigh. I'm just like, but come on. So... we're just gonna have to wait for Nepo baby. Thanks for the new term. Now I'm gonna abuse it. For the baby to grow up at his pace and smooth the way for him.
Like, we've mentioned this multiple times that Wilfried is not Archduke candidate level, but because he has too much like empathy and like it cares too much about other people to be an Archduke, and that's been his downfall this whole time.
For sure,
is the fact that he cares too much,
and his lack of critical thinking. To be honest,
yeah, but he cares. He has a very big lack of critical thinking, which is something that other characters also share with him.
Well, we know that, and I don't know if we should. Well, we might as well
more
get
than
that.
critical thinking.
Yeah.
Like, it's the fact that he's never been given an opportunity to make a choice. His entire life has been planned for him. Like, and even now, still, like, the fact that he's in contact with Oswald, and one of the lines was in the book, it's like, he says he doesn't know why he was removed. Like, why are you not telling your stupid child that Oswald is a danger and a threat to you? You should have no contact with this man. Like, and then even still, like, there was stuff where, like, through, Sylvester and Florencia were talking, and he's just like, yeah, but I'm still really worried about Wilfried. Like, how is this going to affect him? Like, who cares about Wilfried right now? Like, he's the least important person in this entire scenario. Why are you caring about him?
Well, to them, he's super important, but to us, we're like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Like, also, we have to realize that, like, to Wilfried, Oswald is like almost like one of the people that were also with him for like most of his life, just like how Veronica was there, and that like to him Oswald can do no wrong, and he just hasn't, like, since no one told him, like, you can't expect a child to realize stuff that adults can realize with their big brain moves. Like, it's not normal to have a child be expected to be able to make decisions that could impact the rest of their lives like this.
You know what? That entire sentence right there could be like the theme of this book, because you have Wilfried with his perspective on Veronica, but then you shift that and you have Rosemyne's perspective on Ferdinand. And as much as Ferdinand liked her and they cared for each other, in this volume we learned that her her learned lessons in life are completely warped because she learned them from Ferdinand, and it mirrors the same thing through Veronica. And then we take like the last few chapters of this book too, and we look at Christmas Tree and her
Christmas tree.
and it, you know what, it mirrors the same thing.
Right.
She learned life lessons from her mother that are affecting her current choices.
Yeah.
So
This whole book is basically the wrongdoing of like the
previous generation.
the prettiest generation that basically ruined the childhoods and the chances of other generations to be able to succeed in life.
Perfect. Yes.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. 99% of Jürgen Schmidt's problems can be solved by better parenting.
True.
You know what? Break that even more. Just communicating. I
Yes.
think like the last thing,
The
just like
lack of communication.
yeah.
Yeah, because like
But-
Florencia has to like communicate with her children through like tea parties, so it's a very formal setting. They're
Yes.
Why? Like you can't just sit over
I have
dinner
that
and
written
talk.
down as a thing. It's just like,
Yeah,
oh,
in the hidden room.
she taught her children just through tea parties. That's why Rozemyne knows shit all. You know, like if that was supposed to be your parental lessons through the day. It's like, yeah, of course she didn't show up to a tea party. That's not important to her. She doesn't care. She doesn't want to go to the castle.
It's not her place. It's not where she feels safe. She doesn't want to be there. All she wants to do is take care of the orphanage and like make books.
Make books.
And
That has
take care of
always
the temple.
that has
Oh, I
always
want to
been
use
her
that as
point.
a segue.
What's up?
Because like you say, she only cares about the thing that's like in her sphere of influence, right? And
Yeah.
one of the things I have written down is Sylvester's comment. It's like, we should think about putting something she really values in the sovereignty. And I'm reading that and I had to like put mine on my phone. It's just like, oh no, that just sounds like a hostage situation with more steps. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like what are these people thinking? Like, how are they going to motivate their children? I know, we'll hold something that they care dear and put them in the sovereignty. That'll get her motivated.
Rosemyne would not like, as much as like Rosemyne loves the people she loves, she doesn't want to put them in any kind of danger. And like Sylvester's move could possibly end up putting a lot of people she loves in really bad danger.
Yeah.
All right, we might want to move on to
We should.
report on the Archduke
Yes.
Conference.
Okay. Thank you. So let us move on. Thank you again for your comments. So let us continue. So we have prologue done. Yes, less than 20 minutes.
Because
We could go on for 10 more minutes.
Report-
We could go for 10 more
we
minutes.
could have gone on
We
for a
could.
while.
Okay. Yeah. We always go for a while.
Had more on.
Yes. Report on the Archduke Report on the Archduke Conference. We have announcements, everybody. This is what happened during the Archduke Conference. We have duchy rankings stay the same, but they're going to be treated as a winning duchy, meaning they'll also need to provide assistance to the royal family. They don't specify what assistance or what their burden will be, but there's going to be like a little bit of like a little treat kind of to like make up for it. So we'll see. Everybody's like, what's the burden that's so great that they're going to give us these good things? But anyway, that's up to them to like figure out later. Now, next is Ehrenfest burden will be announced next year, but in return is giving concessions to increase its noble population. Yes, I talked about that. Also, Ferdinand's Starbine is delayed. And also the royal family world and managed to trigger the magic circle. So now Dietlinde is no longer the only known Zent candidate. Big, huge sigh of relief at that news.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Though she still holds the distinction of being the first, but you know, at least she's not the only one. Then changes in the Royal Academy curriculum are going to take place, and the annual dedication rituals with Klassenberg as part of the joint research will also take place, courtesy of some miscommunication and Eglantine. And anyway, now Ob Ehrensbach's funeral will take place at the beginning of the summer, and Sylvester must attend. Florencia is staying home because, of course, she is going to have a baby, so she can't go. And the king declined to welcome Lanzanave princesses. And this is important, but we will talk about that at the one of the last chapters with the Lanzanave envoys. And furthermore,
Definitely.
there's news about what happened to the Trug Knights and of the sovereignty. Well, they were dismissed, so they're not really taking any chances. They were just all dismissed. So, well, we'll see what happens. So, anything about these announcements that you guys want to touch upon?
Well, I think the fact that like Sylvester was like dodging the whole Rozemyne getting adopted situation. It was very funny because he was like, yeah, we're gonna talk about it next year. So, and then you just have all of the nobles around the table looking at him like, what is going on? That is going to basically make the whole duchy, because I'm pretty sure they're suspecting that it's something really big, because there's no way the royal family would send this many things. So many magic tools.
Right, he did announce 40 magic tools for children.
Yeah, 40 magic tools. They only sent over, what, 12 or about a dozen or so? But
that was later on, though.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the deal was, 40. Now, here's a question that's somebody asked in the chat. Let's see, who was it? Thomas70. By the way, Thomas, thank you so much for your support. Have a big, huge heart from me. Now, Thomas says, does Dietlinde know that she has competition, though? I believe she does. No. She doesn't? I kind of feel like she did, because remember when she went to the underground archive? When she went to the underground archive, and she was talking like all that nonsense at Hortensia and Solange. She was like, I must beat Sigiswald at the Grutter site. So I think it's been known that they did, but she wants to beat him to it. Like, so I don't think it's a secret. In fact, it's in the royals' interest that that's not a secret, that they also activated the circle.
Yeah.
But that's what I think.
But also, like, they might just say that they, like, I don't know if like Dietlinde truly believes that they did activate it, or they're just saying it to like calm the people down. And like, I don't know what's going on in Dietlinde's mind. But, like,
it is pointless to try to understand what goes on in her mind.
The Dietlinde needs some time to herself. She needs to figure herself out.
A lifetime in a padded chamber, yes.
She should be stored next to Veronica.
And to expand on the changes to the Royal Academy curriculum, stops will be acquired at their third year after making their divine protections ritual.
For sure.
Yes, and that stored a lot of problem, like a lot of conversation in the chapter of people being like, but we still need help. Like, is the mana crisis over? And like, they had to go fully in depth describing the fact that this will actually benefit us more than it is to have her stop in the first year.
Yeah, but of course it's going to present its difficulties, because you have to modify the lessons. But you know, thankfully, one very shrill teacher already proved that, you know, you can, after all, modify the lessons to what they were in the past. So thank you, Frau Alarm, for having actually made things easier for this change to take place. Who would have thought that she would come in useful? Yeah, she did one thing.
The one thing that she was useful for is showing that teachers can adapt to any circumstances.
Yeah,
and
they have much to thank her for. All right. So, anything else about these reports from the Archduke Conference?
I was wondering, what is the positive thing of be treated like victory? Because at the moment they just got more responsibility.
I know.
But that's all.
They were better off being neutral, right? I feel like it.
Yes.
Being a grander duchy, I don't know what's the benefit. Like, why would it's not more comprehensible that they would be treated as a greater duchy, just in case, to exchange the fact that they were not given a higher rank. Like, I don't, like, even if they're like the royal family was like, yeah, we're going to treat you as a higher duchy. I don't think they're
No, not that-
actually going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a higher duchy. They're being treated as the winner.
Yeah, not as a higher duchy, as the winner of a war.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all what they get
They
is,
both
well,
do
now
that.
you have the same responsibilities, but no both side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have the same responsibility as the winning duchies. Now, without the positive sides of it, I feel.
Well, they didn't incur any losses, unlike the people who did participate in the war.
Oh
True,
yeah.
at least they didn't have to take
I
care
guess
of
you could
another
say that as a
territory.
positive.
Yeah.
And they don't have to take care of
Brilliantly.
previous
Oh.
traitor territory. True.
Yeah, but this is why they give Rosemyne away.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
being portrayed as such, but
Yeah.
that's not the reason.
So if we remember, the royals when they wanted Rozemyne to join the sovereignty, they said we're going to give Ehrenfest all these concessions, and these concessions were like having more nobles move to Ehrenfest, increase Ehrenfest's influence in the sovereignty. So these are things that are considered positive, because then you can, like, it's like sending lobbyists to Washington,
Actually,
right? So
It
if
was the other way around.
pardon.
They don't
It
even
was they were gonna allow Ehrenfest to bring a bunch of nobles to the
Mhm.
sovereignty.
Yes, so that's, yeah. So doing that is basically like having more influence on the stuff going on in the sovereignty. So that's seen as like a positive thing. And of course, you get to have a higher status in the rankings, which means you get to lord it over those small, insignificant loser duchies. Nobles and what's important to them, it doesn't make sense to us, but in their world it makes perfect sense. Okay, well, good for them, but we don't like that. Let's move on to the next chapter, and it is the cancelled engagement and a choice for the future. So we have a private follow-up meeting involving only the archducal family to announce Rozemyne. That Rozemyne is going to be adopted by the king and will be engaged to Sigiswald upon coming of age. They have a year to prepare for the move, and the move must be kept secret. Okay, so during this time, they basically threw everybody out, even the retainers. Everybody saw only the family is allowed in. So this is where things get a little bit interesting and tempers flare, and I loved it. It was fun. We have, of course, the first one of them to lose their cool is Grandpa Bonifacius, because of course he is far from delighted that Rozemyne is going to be sent over to the sovereignty. In fact, he takes issue with it and going so far as to almost say, like, you sold Rozemyne for those things, and I get it. Like, you would trade a family member over a few magic tools and a few nobles coming into the duchy. I mean, he has a point. So they have to kind of settle him down, because Bonifacius unleashed. I'm sure some bones would have broken or something. What did you guys think about this part of just Bonifacius's reaction in general? Just Bonifacius for now.
I'm glad that Rosemyne was the one who put him in his place, essentially, by telling him that she was the one who suggested the helping Ferdinand, and how basically she's trying to say that my family bonds are important to me, and if I leave, will you stop considering me your family? Like that calmed them down real quick.
Yeah, for sure. That was a big misunderstanding right there. You pointed out well, because she's like, okay, so I know, like, they totally dismiss Ferdinand because he's no longer in Ehrensbach, right? And it hurts. Like, I'm reading it and it hurts that they totally dismiss Ferdinand, or he does. But so she brings up the point, like, okay, so just as in the same way that you are forgetting Ferdinand because he's no longer with us, are you gonna do the same? And he's like, oh no, like, it kind of makes him like, okay, like, check himself a bit, which is good, because I didn't want to be disappointed in Bonifacius, honestly. Like, he's always been a fun fellow, but if he was gonna make things difficult for Rozemyne and continue to take issue because of Ferdinand and how she's trying to help him, I was not going to be a fan. Also, Mr. Zadikai. Hello, darling. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, hey, Magpie, I love your channel. Aw, thank you. Happy that you're enjoying it. Here, have a big, big heart. Okay, there you go. Thanks a bunch. All right, anything more about Bonifacius, or we can continue on to the other ones?
I was just going to say that Bonnie jumped the gun.
I was thinking that in the last book, Wilfried's performance did not get better with Bonifacius. So I was thinking he did it on purpose to cancel the engagement, basically.
Mm.
Ooh.
And so that Bonifacius will put him down because he gives not performance for an Archduke, and if he cannot be an Archduke, the engagement would be cancelled.
Yeah, that's also a possibility. There's a lot at stake in keeping the status quo, but unfortunately that's no longer feasible because now once the royals got involved, can't go against what they want now. They're lucky that they got some concessions. By the way, welcome. Who joined? Was Big Polymer Philip? Hey, welcome.
What's going on? I had to work some OT today.
Ooh, get your money.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Get that money.
Awesome. Yeah, you do the things. That's important. Because you need to purchase merch and you have to support with the books and do all the things. That's important stuff.
That figure ain't cheap.
I know. Oh man.
God.
But it's gonna be so worth it. It's so worth it. I don't want to talk about the other little figurine. We'll talk about it later. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's Bonnie. He's enraged. Thankfully, he saw sense. Now, the role of future Ob Ehrenfest is up for grabs. So Charlotte can become Ob if she takes a groom from another duchy. Melchior can also become Ob, or Florencia's unborn child. Or, get this, even Wilfried can become Ob if he works hard enough. They're still being the Lulu and trying to they still
want their baby.
Yeah. So we'll see. Charlotte's horizon, she is overjoyed. You can see that she's almost shocked at the fact that, what she had totally given up on is now a possibility. Melchior, meanwhile, he thinks about it, but he decides, no, you know what? I'm just going to focus on taking over as High Bishop. And good job, Melchior. You're such a good boy for focusing on what's important right now. Somebody needs to be High Bishops, and you have to focus on that. So good job for Melchior.
Such a sweet baby.
Such a sweet baby. Such a smart baby. If Wilfried had been raised by Florencia and he turned out to be closer to Melchior, then it would have been a totally different story. It really would have been.
Yeah.
Imagine that. That would have been actually sweet.
Aw, they're adorable.
Though, of course, he would still have been too young for Rozemyne. Rozemyne has always seen Wilfried as like a child, much too young for her. So, I mean, it wouldn't have changed anything, but still, at least they would have gotten along and they would not have had all this drama. Now, Wilfried, let's talk about Wilfried. I mean, we have talked about Wilfried, so let us talk some more about Wilfried.
It truly is unfortunate that Charlotte was born a girl.
It truly is. She's such an amazing Archduke candidate, and I hate that she's getting so overshadowed every time, and that in this chapter, this was the first time Charlotte ever got recognition for what she has ever done. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's finally getting praised by her parents for something that she did, and that she didn't have to fight over Wilfried to get this praise. And I was so happy for her that she finally got her time to shine, and that she can finally go for the things that she has been fighting for this whole time.
Yeah.
Her whole goal was to either become Ob, and when that was taken away from her, she then chose to support Rosemyne unconditionally. Like, she's like the best sister ever, and I'm so happy for her that she can now get back to her original dream, and that she can still
she can rule. Yeah.
She can be the amazing ruler that she was always meant to be.
Now, the chat is also being very supportive of Charlotte for Ob. We have Eric Ford, Scanners Fuffle, Patrick Elzy, and also Shaddix27 says Charlotte needs to just grab Ortwin. You know what? Why not? We need a quality candidate, and Ortwin seems like a good idea. Now, Ortwin has a job for his own, though, so I don't think it might be easy because he has to become Ob to support poor Adolphine. So we'll see. Yeah, there's a lot. Unfortunately, Ortwin cannot easily go without breaking his sister's heart, or at least disappointing his sister, because we know the kind of temperament that Adolphine is. She's like, no, you're gonna do this, because that's how she is. So you don't want to incur your older sister's wrath, huh?
Do we know any good Archduke candidates for Wilfried, for Charlotte?
Well, we know those, but I'm sure there's more in her year. So, but we don't know about those in her year. But there are several in her year. So hopefully she can find from there. Yeah,
she can just snag a good one from a good ranking duchy, and and it's gonna. She just that's her only thing she needs to do, is within the 5-year. Where all nobles have to marry into Ehrenfest, she needs to find herself a husband.
Or she could pull a Sieglind. She could pull a Sieglind and then marry our precious Bean.
Whoa!
Oh, shoot! Oh,
a Sieglind, or is it a Magdalena? No.
Was it Sieglind?
Sieglind is
or Magdalena?
Sieglind is first wife of
Magdalena's third wife. Yeah. Magdalena.
All right. So here's something that Thomas70 says. Very controversial, Thomas, but okay, I will read it. Says Magpie, Adolphine can become wife number 3 for Sylvester, and Ortwin can marry Charlotte. Wow. Okay. So it sounds like it would be okay, because I mean, there's a spot for wifey number 3, but can you imagine Adolphine taking third wife spot sitting down? Like, would she like it? Especially
situation all over again. No,
it would be.
Don't do that.
It would be a challenge to implement that plan. Now, I say Adolphine can just, become Ob of, somehow get divorced and become Ob of Drowenshell. She deserves that.
Please.
Yes.
As long as she gets that, like, oh my god.
Yeah, she just needs to get rid of Sigiswald. Yeah. All right.
So smart.
And of course, the chat is asking, if Charlotte was a male, would they be love interest? Or also
between Charlotte and Rosemyne, definitely.
And
I already think there's potential there, personally.
There's potential.
There's something there for sure.
Maybe not romantic, but as a political marriage, they would work together well. It's a known fact. Charlotte even said herself, I think it's canon, like she said, like, I'm jealous of my brother, and if I were just a man, I would totally beat him for her. So I mean, it's not an idle question, it's a legit question, because
and we would still dot on Wilfried.
We're still on Wilfried.
They'll still be like, oh, Wilfried,
okay.
If Charlotte, if Charlotte were a boy, it's the same. It's like, oh, Wilfried.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay, so let's continue on. So Wilfried's future. Okay, thank you. Wilfried's future is far more uncertain, which angers him. But he receives support from his parents with suggestions on the many options that are available to him. Now that he is no longer guaranteed Ob, he has a lot more freedom to choose a path in life. At the end, at the end there was that line about him saying to Rozemyne, like, being engaged to you was painful, but I still love you like a sister, and it kind of closes things off between them on a positive note.
Honestly, I'm so glad that they're back to just being siblings, because Oh my gosh, the couple thing was not working out for them.
It was
at
not.
all. It was not. And also, like, the fact that Wilfried, like, finally gets to choose his own path in life, that is going to actually make him, once he chooses what he wants to do, he will actively work for it. Instead of being like, oh, I don't want to do this though. I don't want to do this. Why should I do this when everyone else should be doing it for me?
I could definitely see him as a knight commander.
Yes, a knight commander as Wilfried. Like, Wilfried would work so well as a knight commander. As much as Sylvester doesn't want to let Wilfried go, and Florencia and Sylvester don't want to let him go, I have a sinking feeling that they will have to.
Now,
just for his sake.
I would like to first point out that in order for him to become knight commander, he has to first repair things with Bonifacius, who has given up on him and who doesn't like him. And he's the one that's gonna have to train him, and if he survives that training, then maybe he can become knight commander. The other route is a far more easier one, where he doesn't have to, almost die trying to gain strength comparable to Bonifacius, or at least enough to please Bonifacius, is to become a Gib. And honestly, that's where I'm leaning towards. I think that Gib is the best road for him.
Definitely.
Okay, so
is there an illustration for this one?
Oh yes, there's an illustration, and I have
Please.
Yes, here you go. There's the illustration. The illustration has been posted, colored by Noemi. This is, I think this was one of your first ones, right? Or the second?
It was my first ever time drawing.
Look at you.
No, it was my second.
Second.
It was my second.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one was Dietlinde.
Wow. Oh man.
I started off strong.
You started with Dietlinde when there was another Ferdinand image here, and you didn't do that one. Your Empress is disappointed.
Dietlinde was the absolute correct choice.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh, first one.
Itself is just so stunning. I just could not stop myself. I just had to.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll come back to it later.
So again,
because imagine she made errors, it's still Dietlinde.
So we have, of course, thank you to Noemi, and of course to Rodrigo Igarza from Rayworks, who colored those pictures. So thank you, you guys are amazing. Your talent is sublime. Now, anything more about this, or is there something else you guys want to talk about? Or let me see if there were a bunch of memes for this one, actually. So let's talk about the memes.
Oh yeah, the hell of a lot of
memes. memes. So we have, first of all, we have the future of Wilfried, of course. Relationship ended with future Ob, and now finding my life's purpose with Wilfried is my best friend. So
that was a banger. I love that one.
Such a good meme.
Oh my god.
And then of course there was the fan base to Wilfried. Perhaps I treated you too harshly. What's that guy's name, by the way? I've always seen him. What's his name?
I don't know.
No, this
yeah, I don't know.
He's supposed to be from some kind of movie or something. Fergie, do you know?
I can't see the image.
I'm pretty sure it's an MCU reference you haven't seen yet.
Oh, okay. So I know his name. It's
Isn't it Thanos?
Yeah, yes, him. Yeah. Yes. So, and of course
we have to wait for the stream to follow.
Oh, okay. And then there's of course the other one of the age of Wilfried hate is over, and the age of Siggy hate has begun. So again, so those are the ones. The next ones I'm going to talk about, those are the ones I have. So okay, let's just move on to the next part, unless there's something else you guys want to talk about for this chapter, the cancelled engagement and the future.
Unlike the one thing I really liked about this chapter was the fact that they were Rozemyne focused a lot on the fact that Wilfried was keeping his emotion in until they sent everyone out.
Mhm.
Like even Charlotte and Melchior, he was not speaking a word.
Mm.
He was so quiet the
Mhm.
whole time.
Yeah.
And
So-
then once everyone was out, he blew up at them. I was like, this is honestly, he learned self-control. Good for him.
Yes.
But yeah,
good.
that was very funny.
That is good for him. Hold on, I have to reply something on the chat. They're attacking me. They're attacking me for not
They're
knowing.
attacking you?
No, they're attacking
Oh,
me
yeah,
for not knowing.
yeah.
Leave me alone. No, I won't chat. Actually, everybody, this is totally unrelated, but I am going to be watching a Marvel. I'm gonna watch a whole bunch of movies next week. I'm gonna do a marathon, and it'll be amazing. And then by the time I return to Bookworm, I will be fully immersed in the MCU universe, and you will no longer have reason to call my not knowing cringe. Patrick.
Wait. I am a total cringe. I have seen nothing.
I have seen Guardians
sorry.
of the Galaxy and
Oh.
You want to join us?
No, I don't.
So Fergie and I
I
are gonna
like Marvel.
do we're just gonna watch them. So it'll be great fun.
Phase 1
After
through
you're
3.
finished,
We're gonna
you
do
are
it in
nerd.
Yeah.
After you finished all your movies, you are the MC nerd.
Yes. I hope to gain my little my card as an MCU nerd once I do that. So anyway,
Oh, Magpie, keep us updated on what movies you're watching.
for sure. You'll
And
know.
what your thoughts on them were.
You will know. All right, so let us continue on. At the risk of talking about MCUs, let's talk about my retainer's choices. So, Rozemyne will need to acquire the permission of the parents for any retainers that are underage and not name sworn in order for them to follow her to the sovereignty. So she gathers all her people and she's like, this is what's going to happen, and this is what I need you guys to tell me to consider this situation seriously. So Wilfried also suggests that to Rozemyne that she should give her scholars brewing jobs, otherwise their brewing skills will be called into question. And good point there.
Finally.
Good job, Wilfried.
You have a job.
Good job, Wilfried. Because
Good job,
this,
Wilfried.
this is
You
something.
got one.
Yeah, this is something that she needs to fix, because she always did her brewing thanks to Ferdinand, who always did his own brewing, and that's not normal. So thankfully she has two excellent arch scholars. We have Hartmut and Clarissa, who are going to be proving themselves
Let's prove it out.
in this volume. Yeah. And so Rozemyne, once Rozemyne returns to her chamber, so she summons all her noble retainers. She tells them about the engagement and how it's been cancelled. And so in the end, the retainers are going to be split into 3 different camps. Those who will move with her as soon as she leaves the sovereignty, which will mostly be the name sworn. Those who will stay in Ehrenfest until they come of age and then move to the sovereignty. And those who will stay in Ehrenfest to fill in for those that are leaving. And of course, somebody posted on the chat, the sad truth is that Pedro Alexander says Judith is going to be left behind for real this time. Poor Judith. She's always being left behind. And at this and at this point, she kind of feels like at least she's not the only one being left behind, because Lizalita apparently at this point, she also is going to stay in Ehrenfest. She's the heir to her house. She's engaged. There's just so much going on. And of course we have Hartmut, and who's not going to stay behind. He's not going to stay behind, and neither will Clarissa. So, and among other retainers, which we will cover as we go. Now,
So what does Hartmut and Clarissa do?
Hartmut and Clarissa do something very important in this volume. Now, students from the sovereignty, we learn, they attend Royal Academy as students from the original duchy. So those that are still going to the academy when they move with Rozemyne, they will get to stay in the Ehrenfest dormitory when they attend class. So their dormitories will stay the same. So they don't actually cut off contact altogether. Now Hartmut begs for his name to be accepted, and Clarissa also wants to have her name. You know, she offers her name soon after. Artily suggests that Rozemyne take their names in order to keep them from getting out of control. And this part always made me laugh because Artily, she just wants them off her hands. She just wants to get those two off.
Get rid of them.
Please take the leash.
Yeah, take the leash.
I love that.
We're gonna talk about it right now.
Yeah.
But she doesn't even want to be in the ceremony.
We actually should probably just talk about it because at Karsted's estate, it starts with the very next day that Hartmut said that he wants her to take his name. Like the very next day, he's like, "Here's my name, take it." And she's like, "Oh no!" So what happens, you guys? Can you tell me?
Oh my god! He reacts as ecstasy at feeling her mana on him. I'm so creeped out.
This is the closest to BDSM we're gonna get on this.
Yeah.
Oh my. Artely's
That is literally what it was.
Yeah. So Eric Ford says in the chat,
Well,
Artely
actually,
is
no,
ready
I
to
lied.
retire. What? What?
No, I lied. This is not the closest we get to BDSM.
You're right, actually.
Rafa, what is that
Stop
image
it.
on the stream?
Stop it. PG-13, you guys. PG-13. Now, there's the meme. I know, but there's the meme. It's one of the funniest things ever. But do remember, okay, for all that Hartmut is this weirdo, let's just remember how much of a Chad he really is, okay? So Hartmut has is in total control of information for his lady. Like, he protects her, right? He accepts her flaws, and later on we learn that he knows that she's a commoner. He's accepted her, right? And he still admires her.
Not only accepted her, he has still adored her for Ku Klux trials.
Oh jeez.
The Chad.
So, yeah, there's just so many things that Hartmut can do for her. It's just that he's kind of interesting. Like he just rubs her the wrong way, and that's his biggest fault. He's just not behaving well. So, but
Can I say?
But
yeah, I hate this.
What?
The fact that the way Hartmut reacted, I physically cringed.
Yeah, that's why
I was like, I can't. I can't.
I won't lie. Very in line with Hartmut's character. Like, I'm not at all surprised that that's the way that he reacted.
But it's still
what though? This is like the most quote-unquote Japanese weird thing that this series has ever kind of given us. Because so far I feel like this series has been pretty straight-laced with a lot of its humor, but this is the one that just kind of made me go, all right, this is a Japanese series, I forgot.
Oh, what about the sibling marriage? Oh, well, I guess that's...
Oh.
No, that's just Europe, you know?
No.
Yeah.
That should actually be more of a... Never mind. Yeah, that's like a medieval thing too.
Yeah.
What about Dunkelfelder's proposal?
Well, Dunkelfelder's proposal are amazing. I would definitely 110% recommend seeing another one of them in the book.
I mean,
not in real life?
Think about it.
Oh, in real life, that would be very creepy. And in real life, I would be concerned for the male counterpart in that situation. I would be very concerned.
Now,
can we take a step back for a sec? I want to talk more just about the name stone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yes.
I suppose I'm going to jump the gun slightly because Barthold also has a name stone thing later, and I'm just going to talk now because why not? But like it's kind of interesting how Tilly is like her first thought is just like, okay, accept the name because now you'd be able to put him under your control and you'd be able to control him slightly better. You can like forbid him from doing certain things. And the way it's presented to us is that like in theory there are not a lot of downsides to the situation. You know, it'd be good. You'd have more control over him. But then in a later chapter we get the exact opposite. It's like, no, there is Barthold who is name sworn to Wilfried. And he is he found a way to be malicious to his master, you know, to harm him in a way that doesn't go against any of the rules that have been set out, you know. And it kind of shows that, you know, Hartmut in this situation is a lot more, I guess, like virtuous in the sense that like we give him credit for, because he knew all this condemning information regarding Rozemyne, but he kept it to himself because he worships her in that way. But like, you know, I'm so glad that it's Hartmut and not someone else that has this information about her, because we could see where this easily would have gone complete to fuck just because someone else was malicious. You know, it's a very big kind of blind spot that we get shoved in our face later.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, Hartmut was probably the best option to have figured out that information. And honestly, in his position as High Priest, it's probably not that difficult to find out about that stuff. Especially since he's constantly in the temple, he probably noticed a lot of stuff that was happening around Rozemyne that just would not make sense.
The way I see it, as far as how name-sworn retainers are restricted, is name-sworn retainers have just as much free will as non-name-sworn retainers until they receive an order.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
as long as the master doesn't figure out what is going on, in general, they will stay. They can do whatever the frick they want.
Like, you're 100% right. It's just the way the story is kind of presented to us up to this point, that if you're a name sworn, you are loyal. That is not the truth at all. It's just, you know, you hope that they are loyal. You assume that if they are name sworn, that they are loyal enough to be trusted. And it's kind of interesting to see. It's like, oh, Barthold's name sworn. He's the one leading the charge in that one instance it was offhandedly mentioned. And it's just kind of like interesting. It's like, oh, because you now hold these secrets, I'm going to trust you more, when there has been like no reason to support that fact at all. It's just, you know, you're polluting your own beliefs into thinking you can trust him because he's name sworn. You know, that's on to the character to like earn that trust or not.
That trust is mostly stemming from the fact that if the master dies, the servant dies along with it. But they assume that the servant desires to live.
Yeah,
that's true. You could, yeah.
So it's with these Ehrenfest weirdos that you get all these weird outliers that, like, usually it should be pretty straightforward. Name giving is a thing of devotion, of loyalty, very private, but no, it's only Ehrenfest. First because Gabrielle required it, and Gabrielle and Veronica required it of people to, you know, because they were screwed up like that. But then, like, we also here now have Rozemyne using it so that they can save children, save lives. So little by little, things have changed regarding name swearing. So it was never meant to be this convoluted and this in this way, right? But hopefully
it was never meant to be used the way it is being used.
Like Bonifacius at one point was like really upset against it. And it's like, at this point, I think with all information laid out, now we have a grand enough understanding to see his point of view in that.
And who is to blame? Sylvester.
Yes, of course, because Sylvester is the one that's taking the blame for it, of course.
Originally, it's gotta be at least Veronica.
I think even Gabrielle.
Yes,
Gabrielle.
but Sylvester brought the concept for
for saving the children.
One noble guy, like his son must be name sworn to Sylvester.
From part 4, volume 9, right? The one, the son,
and so forth.
the one that was married to Gloria. Yes, that guy.
Yeah, it was the first case of name swearing
Mhm.
in this security way thing.
Yeah.
But Rosemyne will get the name for it.
Now let's move on to the meeting with the Karsted's estate. So after, unless there's something else you guys want to point out about name swearing and such. Thank you, by the way, Fergie, for that.
Just the retainer's choice one, the chapter itself. The fact that Damuel is just there again, and like he can't go, and I'm like, Damuel, no, we can't. Like, he's been the one pivotal person to Rozemyne for a long time, and we're gonna lose him.
Yeah.
How can they possibly do that to us?
That's devastating.
He's a Peru-loving person, like Damuel.
Well, because if he goes to the sovereignty, there won't be any Perus for him too. So it's better that he just stays here with his one true love.
Speaking of, while I was writing this down, I was actually going to put in who was in which camp, but because during this book some people change, switch sides between whose thing is going, I decided not to.
Currently, I think
that's probably a wise
Daniel,
choice, yeah.
Feline, Judith, Brunhild, and Lizaletta are all staying at this point.
At this part of the story, yeah. All right.
Yeah, but
it changes though.
Judith is only staying because she's being forced to by her family because she doesn't have name sworn, which makes you wonder, when is Judith gonna put her foot down and say, "This is what I want"? Right now, she's just being the obedient, noble girl that follows the orders of her family and follows the rules, But she's missing out on everything that she actually wants to do.
Yeah. But
when is she gonna put her foot down?
She's gonna put her foot down when she won't be needed for plot. Because after all, she's gonna be needed to stay, and probably she's going to do stuff that's gonna be important later on. I don't know. Now,
plot purposes.
Yeah. So let's see. At Karsted's estate, we have, after accepting Hartmut's name, much to her discomfort, Rozemyne writes a letter to Ferdinand detailing the deal she made to give him a hidden room, exemption from Dietlinde's punishment, and the discoveries they made about the silver cloth that Gerlach had used. She omitted, this is important, she omitted her adoption to the sovereignty or the Zend candidacy. I wonder why. Why would you do that, Rozemyne?
The most goofiest stuff right there.
Suspicion that she was told to not talk about it to anyone, and she's taking it way too seriously.
She has, yeah. This is an instance where she probably should have been open about this, but of course she's always going to be afraid of him, lecturing her. So, I mean, if you're afraid of getting lectured, just don't do things that will make you get lectured, Rozemyne. Come on. Is that so hard to do?
Yes.
Point her breathing. Because Rozemyne breathes, and Ferdinand is, "You fool."
Yeah, but she breathes, and from the other side of the other duchy, he's yelling at her, "Fool!
You fool!"
Now,
how dare you breathe the wrong pace? You breathed at the wrong pace. It wasn't on the perfect note.
Couldn't there be a part of the reason that she's not telling him is also that when she showed him the book of the Bible with a floating text, Ferdinand asked her if she wants to be queen, and she says no, and then I'm pretty sure I recall that Ferdinand made a small threat that if she would have tried for it, he would have dealt with her or something like that.
Yeah. That also is a big point there.
I have a feeling that also that is playing with it, and the fact that, like, if she tells him that she's being adopted by the king, she's gonna have to bring up the fact that she has the gooch inside at some point.
She doesn't yet. She
doesn't have it, but that she is a Zend candidate.
She can get it.
That she's a candidate.
She can get it really easily.
The fact that she's a candidate. Yeah, the fact that she's a candidate, and that the
cover
fact
your
that
ears.
Yeah. All right.
You want to rule?
So,
don't feel me.
So let's move on.
No, I mean.
Let's move on. back to this.
She's
Back to this.
recruited, right?
Back to this.
We're going back.
Okay, so Angelica says she will go with Rozemyne and her engagement will be cancelled. What engagement? There really wasn't an engagement because she did. Trial Goods did not pass the exam, and Bonifacius, they're still very like reluctant to get Bonifacius to marry like somebody who could be his granddaughter. So she's gonna go. And Cornelius and Leonore, they actually, it was super funny because it says this part. Elvira asks Cornelius, says, Cornelius, what do you and Leonore plan to do? And then it says, with a loud clunk, Bonifacius set his wine-filled glass down on the table. And then he roars, go to the sovereignty! He roared, protect Rozemyne! And then that was hilarious. So
Bonnie.
And then
Bonnie's so serious about his granddaughter.
And then Rozemyne says, Mother was asking them, not you. She noted. It was painfully obvious that he drunk too much. Now, Bonifacius's eyes shot wide open. I would go with you, Rozemyne, I would. But archducal family members can't become guard knights or move to the sovereignty. Who made these laws? And then, upon learning that it was Gesetsketi, who ruled the country long ago, he yells, curse you, Gesetsketi! You've ruined everything. And I don't know, I just love that part with him losing it and being, of course, too drunk.
Did you mention the 2 points that were skipped?
No, not yet. No, I'm still on that. I'm still on there.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm not moving on. I just wanted to talk about the Cornelius, and then I just kept reading on because I didn't want to miss out on this one. But I won't miss him. I'll be there. Okay. Again, it has that part with Bonifacius doing being angry at not being able to join Rozemyne. It has a meme as well. Bonifacius unable to dote on Rozemyne on one side, and then Zenketetsjeti. Yeah.
Zenketetsjeti.
Yeah. Can you? Yeah. I'm not even gonna try, you guys. All right. So.
Yes, that's me.
So continuing on.
Yes.
There were two points the 2 points you wanted me to talk about. The Rozemyne writes letters to inform people of their future plans.
Right.
Yeah. So she does write letters to the people. She of course doesn't put many details because, you know, she's still trying to keep things as on the lowdown as possible. But yeah, she does tell people in Illigner, as well as Lasfram, the planting company, and the temple of the newest the changes that are going to happen within the year. And then she tells them face to face, which also we get to see that later. And finally, Rozemyne in this one is scolded by Elvira, telling her that she has to make her wishes known and to do what is best for her, because Rozemyne is just gonna be leaving to the sovereignty with like only the smallest, tiniest little retinue, like barely like a few people are gonna go with her. So but Rozemyne has been hesitant to like ask people to like, hey, come with me, because that would be tantamount to ordering them, and she doesn't want to force people. So, but Elvira's like, you know, people aren't gonna make their decisions if you don't speak. So, and then this is where we get one of the most adorable parts of the book, you guys. She tells Rozemyne to ask Lizalita, who is actually in the meeting there with the family, to accompany her to the sovereignty, and it's in the most embarrassing to Rozemyne but adorable to all of us fashion. And of course we have beautiful colorings, beautiful illustration here. Anybody want to talk about this part with the Lizalita and the asking for
Did you do that on purpose?
I do not know. What do you think? So people in the chat are saying that Rozemyne was so cute here, and of course I'm not the only one that picked up on it. There were full-on memes about this. Turosh Max says Rozemyne proposes to Lizalita.
So cute.
Mm-hmm.
It was a literal proposal.
Yeah.
And it's very funny that like people tease her about it after.
Mhm.
Like the teasing of Rosemyne about this
Mhm.
is just another full joke.
Yeah.
No, it's so cute. It's the first time we see Rosemyne go in front of her retainers
Mhm.
and acting like this. Like it's adorable.
Mhm. So I don't know. Let's see. I love the proposal, or at least how she asks so cutely. She's like, Lizalita, and then Lizalita is like kind of like blushing also. She's kind of like a little nervous and blushing, but she's like, Lizalita, if you let me try to do the voice. Lizalita, if you would come with me to the sovereignty, that would really warm my heart. I will do my best to protect you, to ensure that no ills befall you, to make sure you're not overworked, and I will also raise your pay and allow you to keep a veritable nest of shumils in your room. So please come with me. So cute. And of course, to this, Lizalita says yes. She even like cries. She even tears up a little, and she of course says that she will go. And then Cornelius, who was close by, I love that part. He's like, he smirks and comes over, and then he looks at her face and he's like, Rozemyne, I'd feel a lot better about going to the sovereignty if you asked me like that as well. That was so heartwarming.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
Yeah, I love those two.
The most heartwarming part.
Mm-hmm. I just love the relationship that she has with Cornelius, because if we go back to, again, this is probably a tangent, but if we go back to part 3, volume 1, where Cornelius was like, yo, I don't want a little sister, like, it's just gonna be chaos, it's gonna be terrible if we have somebody. And now to see that, how like it has evolved to like being protective of her, and they treat each other like siblings. It's so heartwarming. I love it so much.
The way that their relationship developed is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Also back then he wasn't taking his guard night duty, his night duties seriously, and he wasn't sure he wanted to be her guard knight at all. He had to think that over. There's a whole side story about him thinking and working it over.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the chat, people are saying, was Lizalita cruel for not letting mine off the hook? What do you guys think? She could have just said yes before. What do you guys think?
Absolutely not. Let her squirm a little bit.
Let her enjoy the moment. Like, come on.
It's never going to happen other
It's just going to happen again.
Yeah. I think John Sims, he's the one that posted the question. I think that it was important for this to be a learning experience, especially because Elvira was pushing so aggressively for Rozemyne to make her request known. She has to start somewhere. So she had to let her, squirm a little bit, because it's an educational moment.
Education is important, and at least Elvira's trying to educate her child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, unlike somebody else. Also, Philip, I know, being so clear. See, this is how it's done, Florencia. This is how you do it.
And Georgine.
Now, somebody, Philip A. Demick says the shumil bribe is strong, like a nest of shumils in her room. Like, I don't know, man. Those things could be like a health hazard. I don't think that's a bribe for me. That would actually be a detriment for me. But Lizalita loves shumils, so I guess.
Well, she never specified that they had to be living shumils.
Oh, that's true.
God. Oh no!
I immediately thought of like stuffed shumils, like taxidermied shumils, but
no, it's just
not necessarily.
Shumil,
just
plushies.
like plushies, yeah. But that's where my head went immediately.
Plushies. More shumil plushies for Lizalita.
Mm-hmm.
She can just swim in them.
Okay, so anything more about this chapter? Or do we go to mother and daughter?
We're doing pretty good in time.
I want to give you all something.
Okay.
Because I have noticed about the names Bonifatius.
Uh-huh.
So the who passed the law.
Oh.
It's called Gesetzketten. it's translated to Lord Shames. So he was chained down by a guy with Lord Shane in his name.
Lord Shane? What?
Yeah. So Lore Gesetz is Lore and Kette is chain, so he was chained down literally by a Zen called Lord Shane.
So because the Zen's name actually has the word chain down. Oh my goodness, that's so Mia Kazuki strikes again with those names, right? Thanks for that. That's interesting. That's so interesting.
Just like a religion.
Oh my gosh, that was too much on the nose. That was way too on the nose, in my opinion. All right, so let's move on then to mother and daughter.
Oh, this one.
Oh yes, this one.
Oh, this one.
Elvira and Rosemyne register a hidden room in Karsted's estate and have two-person tea party within it, in which Elvira tells Rozemyne that she should leave Feline and Damiel behind. She gives many reasons as to why, but the most impactful is that they would need help. They would help in protecting Rosemyne's true family. It turns out that Elvira knew that Rozemyne was a commoner from the beginning. Elvira suggests that Damiel marry Feline so that they can protect each other when they move to the sovereignty after Feline comes of age. Elvira tells Rozemyne her life story, detailing how her life was an unhappy one until Rozemyne arrived and everything changed. She now has a hobby that she loves, and her relationship with Karsted has improved. Her sons take their studies more seriously, and she helped in Aurelius' acceptance into her faction. Elvira thanks Rozemyne for saving Ferdinand from punishment, and that also she has saved Eckhart and Eustace. She worries for Rosemyne's future, as it seems that the entire country is dependent on her actions. And of course, we have beautiful lines up and down this entire chapter. So let's talk about mother and daughter, everybody. Impressions, thoughts.
This chapter was probably one of the most emotional chapters from Elvira. We've been slowly but surely getting parts of her story up till now, and you realize at what point how miserable Elvira was before Rozemyne came along and came into the picture and made her marriage with Karsted such a much more wholesome and happy place. And also, like, the way that Elvira is so grateful for Rozemyne giving her the chance to be a mother to a daughter, and like the way Elvira really truly treasures Rozemyne. It's like, even though Elvira didn't give birth to Rozemyne, like, she fully adopted her as like her one and only daughter and truly loves her and treasures her, and it's heartbreaking that they had to separate like this in such a short amount of time. And like, I don't ever wish this I really, really wish for the royal family to end up with the Gutenberg before they have to send Rozemyne to over there as a Zen candidate.
Yeah.
Because like, I really want her to continue living close to Elvira and like keep having Elvira next to her to support her for the rest of her life and not having to be separated.
That would be lovely. That would be lovely. Yeah. So people in the chat have been saying, you know, things like waterworks. Eric Ford says this one wrecked me, and yeah, it was very intense, emotionally speaking.
I had to put down the book after reading this chapter. I had to process my emotions.
Bookworm can't hurt you physically, but it can hurt you in many other ways.
Yeah. There's several memes that I pulled up. Not too many because I didn't want to like put a bunch, but there's the one, this onion won't make me cry, and then the onion speaks and says, "You are my daughter after all," and then of course you cry. I love that one. Then there is the one. There's just, you can see him on the screen if you want. But yeah, I remember when I did this. I used to do meme roundups before, and I didn't want to do it sentimental, so I kind of did like this whole thing that was. But there were a lot of good memes, and again, everything that I wanted for a mother, a noble mother for Rozemyne, it's Elvira. Like, she gives her the support that she needed when she needed. Rozemyne needed some space, and she was willing to respect that space. Like, I know Elvira wanted to support her from the moment that she entered her house, but she knew that Rozemyne needed somebody like to support her emotionally, and that somebody wasn't her. So she gave her the space she needed. But whenever it was necessary, she always came through and supported her in everything. When Rozemyne was in her dream, the whole printing industry could have just like fizzled out, but she took it over and used her nobles, her position to continue to drive it forward. So I just love this relationship. Like, it was always, she was always trying to help Rozemyne without in Rozemyne's terms. Like, she waited until it was necessary to tell Rozemyne, oh, I knew about you being a commoner, because that would have just given Rozemyne something more to worry about. So at this point, when they have like had known each other for a long time and they trust each other, that was the best time to do it, and that was the best time to say it, because she also wanted to encourage her as a mother would, something that she cannot have from Aoife, of course. So now she has it from Elvira. So overall, I can gush on and on about this, but anyway, you guys take your turns, because
there was one.
Oh, I could go. I just want to say that chapter made me have a lot of feels, but also showed us how Elvira is a very admirable woman, because she knew from the start that Rozemyne was a commoner, and adopting a commoner into an arch-noble family is like, in that world, is unheard of. It's like heresy. And there she did, and she overcame all that because she had some reasons that came along with Rozemyne, that Rozemyne made her world better. But even then, the mentality that she had to overcome of herself to do such a thing is admirable.
Yeah. Bianna, were you gonna say something?
So the chapter was obviously a very heavy one, a very emotional one, but there was one line in it that made me chuckle, and I was really happy for it because I was feeling pretty sad, and it was in regards to Elvira was talking to Rozemyne about like the circumstances that led to her being adopted by them, and Rozemyne very much was like, holy crap, like that's a lot of work that they put on you. And Elvira's response is just, indeed, the carelessness of men. And it made me chuckle. So funny and so accurate.
Has been roasted. Yeah, all the unending troubles that the poor woman has had to go through, first with the other wives, and then Karsten brings in some kid from who knows where. Luckily it was Rozemyne, but she just has to adopt, the poor woman. Thankfully it turned out well for her. Now Patrick LZ on the chat, cannot forgive me, says, I still remember your parody review of this, Magpie. You're not forgiven. Yes, I know. I am so sorry for that. I have apologized countless times, and this I think this is the last time I'm going to apologize for that, because I can't do anything about it now. But here, have a heart to prove that I am not holding any grudges and that I still love you. Thank you, Patrick, for your support. Yes, so there was the line. So one other thing that I found really interesting from this one was how she encourages Rozemyne not just to use her power to get what she wants, to use it like a bludgeon, but to use it wisely to get what she needs. And that's in vast comparison to the kind of motherly advice that Georgine gave her own daughter. Georgine was just like, oh, just do it, get it done, and here, have this thing. I'll give you these knowledges just so you can do all your heinous acts or whatever. But whereas she doesn't tell her, you can't use your authority as a bludgeon. She just tells her to set her loose out into the world. So this is a very wise mother, very different styles of mothering, really admirable. Because it could have been better for Dietlinde if Georgine had been a better mother for her.
Honestly, Dietlinde would have probably turned out very differently if she had a emotionally present mother who was not just neglecting her child. Like, Dietlinde is neglected emotionally from everything, so she doesn't understand emotions at all. She cannot read other people's emotions. She only thinks that everyone is feeling the exact same way that she is.
Yeah. And she doesn't look past like the words. Like when Ferdinand was talking to her reason, like I was like, yeah, he's talking the way Ferdinand does. Being very cold, very, facts oriented. And she's being very emotional. Now, if she were capable of being cool-headed as a proper noble, she would not have fallen so hard for the Lanzanave trap here. Unfortunately. Yeah, so I really admire the fact that Elvira could have just neglected Rozemyne, and in a way, I mean, there was a little bit of neglect, but she could have done it on purpose.
I got a full counterpoint because everyone here seems to be praising Elvira, and I'm just thinking it's Elvira and Rosemyne are just too stubborn to realize each other's faults and just completely wasted years of their life where they could have had a wonderful mother-daughter relationship.
Aw, why would you say such a thing?
I agree though.
They didn't have time ever.
The entire time, and instead, we get such a heartwarming, amazing moment of them both being vulnerable to each other, but it's right at what we have to assume is the very end of their mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that's the point I'm making. Yeah.
So it would have been nicer if they had kind of stopped being stubborn, or one of them would have bridged the gap. We needed somebody to bridge it. It would have been
there was a line that said that Elvira didn't see any signs of depression in Rosemyne, so she never chose to reach out. Meanwhile, we know that because Rosemyne has that adult memory from Urano, she did a very good job of trying to mask and okay, this is the second time I'm going through an entirely new environment again, third time if you count the temple. It's I've been through this. I know how to adjust my expectations, just cry when everyone else is away, and pretend I'm Ferdinand and push everything down inside, so because they had that mismatch between expectations between the two, she's oh no, she's fine, I don't need to worry. Meanwhile, she's just I wish someone would hold me, I wish I'd have someone to love me. It's just
Aw, yeah, that's true. We do remember that she did go through a very depressive state during all of part 5. She was super depressed, but of course she had to hide it all. She really could have used Elvira around that time, but again...
Well, yeah, I'm talking part 3 even.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah.
I think, I think we might have touched up on it when we were in the prologue, but there was a lot of the lack of communication between Florencia and Elvira as far as how much they were mothering Rosemyne. Rosemyne really fell through the cracks of that, and I think it's just goes to show that a lot of the issues in this story stem from a lack of communication.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. She's being taught by her mother in the temple.
You mean Ferdinand, who's giving her all this weird ass habit?
And then in the meantime, it's actively Ferdinand, who also is a weirdo and doesn't understand nobles as much as you think he does. And it's
never stood a chance. Never
stood a chance. She's end up so weird.
So that means Ferdinand is her mother.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Ferdinand is the mother in this situation, yeah.
That's why she
maybe more Rosina
so intensively. She's my mom. I must go where he goes.
So
I must follow. I'm a baby bird.
So on the chat, Navi says both of Rosemyne's noble mothers were neglectful in their duties as her noble mothers. Yeah, it was entirely by fault, by like a mistake. They were just unfortunate.
Like, on purpose.
It was not on purpose.
Unlike Georgine, they didn't do it on purpose. Yeah. It's just that both of them assumed that the other one was doing their job.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas 70 says, not entirely their fault. They could have worked around the many time constraints, though. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, you didn't have to assume that everything was okay. It should have been nice if they could have like had like a little tea time and said like, hey, how's your ladies' education going? In the end, who was the one that had to do like tell her about all kinds of things? That was Sylvester in the last book, right? And Sylvester in the previous book. Yeah, there were other stuff.
Sylvester taught her so much about like literal just etiquette that men should follow.
Yeah,
it was funny as hell.
Like being escorted and all the things, and she's like, "What? Really?" Yeah.
The surprise of the fact that I should be treated this way, but I was never treated this way. The dichotomy, and like the way Sylvester said, like, didn't Ferdinand like help you in any of this? I was like, nope. No, we built a system that when he would go too fast, I would pull on his sleeve.
Not just Ferdinand, but Wilfried too.
Wilfried too.
Never
Wilfried only carried her things because he had to, because her attendants couldn't carry in the stuff. Because it was only for
it would have taken too long.
Wilfried also got this training from Ferdinand. Like, Sylvester, where were you? This was your job. This was your one job.
Ferdinand was the person to explain to her what dye in your color means.
Well, we'll talk about that later. Now, so here's this other, I guess this thing I want to point out is, out of all the nobles that Rozemyne knows or has talked to, like nobody has really ever thanked Rozemyne for looking out for Ferdinand, for Eckhart and Eustace. You know, they all think that she just worrying over them is kind of like it's not needed, or at least that's what people say. Elvira, though, is the one noble that says, you know, you have done so good. And then Rozemyne says, I couldn't help. I couldn't help but lean into her kind, gentle hand. This is the first time anyone has praised me for that negotiation, I murmured, casting my eyes down as a sudden warmth spread through my chest. Tears streamed down my cheeks without warning. And then, Elvira says, well, it was an act of compassion for someone in another duchy. Nobody can praise you openly for that, nor would they think to in private. This will most likely be the only time I can say this, but your actions have made my heart soar with joy. By rescuing Lord Ferdinand, you have saved not one life, but 3. Yeah, and that was really, really heartwarming. How she's able to validate Rozemyne's efforts, because all of last book, she just was desperately trying to save Ferdinand, and everybody was saying like, why? Like putting down her efforts. And this is the one person who will validate her. Good for her. I like that.
It's so nice that Elvira actually took the time to validate her, and like that she took care of like the people that she cares for. Like Elvira's the best. Like, I've always thought that. I always loved Elvira. Elvira was like the best. Yeah. And also she's like super hot, so like
I love how you just we like sneak in these little snarky comments. I don't know. But going back to bring it back to like a more serious note, I also appreciate the fact that Elvira is the one who realizes and who says anything about how, you know, she's worried about the people in Ehrenfest, but she also is afraid for Rozemyne. She says, I fear that your small shoulders will need to bear the entire future of our duchy. And again, that totally hits Rozemyne in the chest, because nobody really has expressed any like concern about what's going to happen to her when she goes to the sovereignty. The royal family is just worried about their own thing. The archducal family is worried about what's going to happen to Ehrenfest, and of course their bratty son. Nobody really expressed any concern, like big concern about what might happen to Rozemyne if the Guttersheit ended up in her hands. Like anything could happen. Like maybe the royal family could turn against her and she would be, I don't know, they would deal with her, or maybe they would just like throw her in a prison. I don't know. Anything could happen. Anything could happen.
The thing is, if she did get the Guttersheit, well, guess who comes to her aid?
Who?
Uncle Falcon.
Oh.
Uncle Falcon!
Oh. It's a good thing that she has friends in Dunkelfelger, and I love Dunkelfelger. Yes.
Dude, fucking Lancelot is the best. I
no.
reiterate that all the time.
Excuse you, Ferdinand is the best.
No, me.
We're gonna get off track.
All right. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Okay. So that is. So that is.
I've totally not been on this chapter for the past almost 30 minutes.
Sorry.
But hey.
Yes. Let's continue on. Thank you for keeping us on track. Let's go into magic tools for children. Oh my goodness, we are in chapter 6, everybody. Chapter 6. Magic.
We're not almost 2 hours in.
We're almost 2 hours in. No. Let's power through.
Before we leave.
Oh yes, go ahead.
Before we leave this, there's one little point. When I read this, there was one little phrase that Elvira said when she said that she knew Rozemyne was a commoner. She says in this part, it almost sounds like she figured it out by looking at who Rozemyne dots on. But also, when we go all the way back, I think it was a side story in her father's point of view, her adopted father. I forget his name. Mind blank.
Gunther.
No, not Gunther. Karstad, yeah. Karstad's point of view when he was trying to explain to Elvira that they'd be adopting Rosemary's daughter that died, and he tells her the whole story, and at the end Elvira is like, okay, don't insult my intelligence. And I mean, it sounded like in that side story that she gets the full story that Rozemyne is a commoner at that point, but then in this side story, in this part, it sounds like she figured it out on her own. So when I read that, it raised a little bit of question marks on my end.
I think he just didn't outright deny it and be like, okay, figure out your own solution. Then she just followed the trail of breadcrumbs and was like, oh, okay, that's those two. Cool.
Exactly. Okay, let's do magic tools for children. The sovereignty sent 12 magic tools, not the 40, but it's like an initial down payment, which the Ehrenfest will accept. A portion of them will go to the orphanage, but only those with kind of mana levels, med noble and above, and have been positively vetted to ensure their loyalty to the duchy will be accepted and given magic tools. Rozemyne informs her temple attendants that she will be leaving the temple in a year's time, and she intends to have the temple stay the same as far as how it is run. However, Wilma will have to choose to serve her or Elvira as a personal artist, with her role as caretaker of the orphans being delegated to Lily or Monica. Lily, remember, she's the one that Egmont got with child.
The pig.
And the one that she was the first one to have birth in the temple when nobody knew what was going on. Now, Feline pleads to Rozemyne for Conrad to be given the opportunity to become a noble, but Rozemyne points out that Feline cannot support him as a noble without money. Rozemyne brings up Elvira's suggestion that Feline take over her house, but Feline can only do that after coming of age. Rozemyne ends the conversation by telling Feline to talk to her brother to see what he wants to do. Only 2 of the 5 children measured met the mana requirement, a 3-year-old and Dirk. Dirk wants to become a noble to protect the way the orphanage is run. In order to protect Delia, who cannot leave, Delia only wishes to be with her brother despite, regardless of how things change, but Dirk has resolved to become a noble, despite how he will be treated in noble society. Remember, if he's adopted as a noble, he's going to be looked upon as one of the Veronican children whose parents committed crimes and were executed, so he's gonna live forever under that stigma. He doesn't care. He wants to ensure the safety of this temple and the children and Delia, especially his older sister. He doesn't want the temple to become like it was before. And finally, that's Kirk. But Conrad, when he is given his choice, he says he doesn't want to become a noble. He wants to become a blue priest like Freertak, one who will follow in Rozemyne's cutthroat merchant spirit to help the printing industry. So he wants to be a merchant priest. Good on him. Of course, this is a little bit different from what Feline wanted, but ultimately she respects his wishes, and she decides that after hearing what he wants, which is for her to stay in Ehrenfest until he comes of age, or she comes of age, or something like that, until it's time for him to, move on and grow up a little bit more. Then she will move with Rozemyne, but until then, she's going to stay in the temple. All right, anything about this chapter you guys want to remark or talk about or point out?
Oh my god, yes.
Yes, go on.
Okay, so one, Dirk is amazing. We got to get that out of the way,
Yes, he is more eloquent than I am. Like, seriously. Yeah.
He blames Rozemyne for him being impulsive, which I think is funny. But that's actually not the part that I care about. The part that I care about is all of Conrad's conversation. And especially just the one sentence where he's just like, I want to stay at the orphanage because they were the ones around when I needed people the most. And I'm just thinking like, oh my god, that has to be a stab through the damn heart for Feline, because she's trying to do so much in her power for him, even if it's like selfishly for her, whatever motivations, who cares? But just the fact that like she wants to be with her brother, and the brother's just like, yeah, okay, but you weren't here when I needed you, and because of that, I don't want to come with you. Like, that must suck. Like, everything aside, that just must suck.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's just like a big stab. Like, it's
I felt it.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like, can you just imagine like loving your siblings so much and just not being able to protect them, and then
losing them.
They start. Then you lose them completely.
Yeah, it's like because the time disparity, because like when we're 7 years old, like a year is a seventh of our life, where comparatively, as you're 14, it's only a fourth of your life. So like, obviously those early years are going to be so much more formative to him, and to come from an environment where like his sister wasn't around all the time, and his stepmom abused him, and he didn't get much food. Now he comes to this place where, now I get to play, and the food's nice, and it's maybe a bit drafty, but everyone's really fun, and like it's just like, and you still weren't around. Like, that's the important thing that sticks out.
Yeah. Oh, Feline. But she's still a good sister, despite the fact that she's, sad that he's not going to rely on her and that he's choosing to go his way, and they're going to be separated by like a huge ocean. The status is going to be way too much for them to be family. So despite that, she respects his wish, and she will do what she can, however little or much it is, and mad respect for her.
We learn later the position that she gets, and so that'll be like really good for both of them. I think like they'll be able to have a formative relationship going forward, at least for those few years. But
yeah, it'll help too. So I'm glad everything works out for her too, because she becomes the orphanage director. So that's gonna make sure that they're still close.
I feel like
that could allow them
in this chapter specifically about like siblings wanting to be with, like, the older siblings wanting to be with their younger ones, and the younger ones being already ready to leave them for a better future.
Yeah.
And it was very sad because both Dirk and Conrad chose to leave their siblings and accept that their siblings are not going to be there for them forever, and make a better world for the orphanage and themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I also like how Patrick Elsie points out in the chat, Delia is pouting and insisting that Dirk only call her sister until he's baptized was so cute. Yeah, she has to give up because it was really sad. Like, how she's asking him, like begging him, please don't do this. Like Hartmut is looking on, like she's causing all this fuss in front of the nobles. Like, please don't abandon me. Please don't become a noble, because then we won't be able to be family. I won't be able to call you my little brother. And, you know, after, no matter how much she appeals to him, he's set on his goal, but she still kind of gets pouty and says like, well, you have to call me big sister now until the end, until the time we have to separate. So yeah, I like that part as well. Thanks for reminding us, Patrick.
It's actually like a good mirror point between both of them, because Feline and Delia are both like the older of the two, you know. They're from like the previous generation group, you know, so they're still like very much attached to family, where now both Dirk and Conrad kind of grew up in an environment that's being influenced by Rozemyne, and seeing that influence allow both of these people to grow up to be more independent individuals is kind of interesting to see how her influence is playing out.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love how we get like all kinds of parallelisms. First we got mothers, now we get siblings. It's really cool. Beautifully put together by Mia Kasuki there. All right. Anything else about this chapter, or shall we move on?
Let's move on.
Let us move on.
No,
No, please.
Feline is gonna take a knife to Damuel's
Oh.
throat. He's gonna kick out his
Oh,
feet.
yes, this.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. So this is the part where we want to talk about it. Do we want to talk about it here?
Oh, yeah,
All right.
let's talk about it
So
too.
let's talk about it here. So we have Feline being trained by so one of the things was there was the option of Daniel marrying her out of, you know, pity, almost like not a love match.
yeah.
And he like proposed to her like, okay, like it will help you, like I can protect you. And she's like, no, I don't want to marry you. like he's like, oh. So he's kind of sad, but in her heart of hearts, because she wants to like be the one to like almost like grow up into a better, older like version of herself who can stand up and like be the one, you know, like as an equal, not like a pity party, you know. So when the time is ready, she is going to take a knife, you know, do the Clarissa thing, and propose.
Ritual
Do a
of her
yeah.
proposal.
Hey, but at least they were warned, right? They were all warned.
Wasn't at one point Rozemyne?
Yeah, she
Daniel,
warns.
I hope you like having a
Knife.
knife to your throat.
Yes.
Daniel's just like, what?
So many good memes out of that one. Yeah, at least he's forewarned, so he shouldn't. If he is ever knocked off his feet, flat on his back, and with a knife at his throat, he should know that it's for a worthy cause.
The meme.
Yeah.
Stand down, soldier. You are not being attacked.
I know. Please don't.
You are not being attacked.
Mhm.
You are being
You're not
proposed
shanked.
to.
Mhm.
Don't worry. Hartmut went through the same thing as you, Daniel. And unlike Hartmut, you are a knight. I'm pretty sure you can.
You can.
You can tolerate this. Hartmut was like from nowhere.
Yeah.
He wasn't expecting it at all.
And he's also Hartmut is also doesn't have the training of a soldier, so it must have really hurt going down. You know, must have really like caught him by surprise. So again, in the end, like I guess I should just kind of like talk about what at the end of the book. Basically, Daniel knows that Feline is an option. Daniel is not averse to it. In fact, he's kind of like happy and excited that there's actually hope, you know, Feline. But he is going to stay behind in Ehrenfest, at least until Feline comes of age. And the meme, of course, they're so sad that they are going to be left behind, but inside they're kind of pleased because things work out for the good.
Honestly, I'm crying inside. I can never let go of Daniel. I need my Daniel in my life. And just like he's like one of those characters in the background that's just like, oh, comfort. Amazing.
Yes,
Perfect.
Daniel is a
Then he's
fun
gone.
character. We need him in our lives. All right.
Yes.
So here's another meme I forgot to put up. Okay, so here's the meme. I can't find it. Why is it not showing? Well, okay. When you try to bring your little brother back into noble society, and I want to be a blue priest. So yeah, Feline trying to do the utmost for her brother, and he just wants to stay in the temple. All right. So let's see. Continuing on with the outline. Okay. So
Fey paper.
Repairing Fey paper. Yes. So Rozemyne appoints. Or making Fey paper. Rozemyne appoints Feline as the orphanage director, and when she leaves, in order to be able to pay for her work in the temple and to help Melchior with the handover duties. Rozemyne has a meeting with the planting company, during which time Hartmut reveals that he knew of her commoner origins for a long, long time. And this caught everybody by surprise. Again, there's a short story about when Hartmut finds out about that. When that happened and how Ferdinand reacted to knowing about Hartmut. Such a fun chapter. It's somewhere out there. And then also there's Rozemyne buys all of the planting company's Trombe paper, not just a few, all of them, as well as the specialty paper from Illigner, and prepares to brew maximal quality Fey paper at her new library. Again, there are a few memes from that one. When we do understand that Fey paper, or the fireproof paper that she bought all this stock from the planting company, is extremely expensive, you guys. And she bought everything without thought. It was just like another purchase at the grocery store. Not a problem.
Here's 5 gold.
Yeah.
Here's 18 gold.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. To the hidden room, where she always talks with the merchants. Hartmut goes in, and she's trying to still be a little bit circumspect about her language and everybody's trying to be like really formal, but he's like, nah, don't worry, I already know. I know about it. You don't have to worry. Just talk as usual. So that was
the way that he just started outlining, and just like, I know your mother, I know your father, I know where you sleep at night. Like, holy shit, man, just take a step back.
What's a creepy stalker situation? You're just like, what did I do? What have I done? I took his name. What am I supposed to do with this now?
Yeah.
This is a heavy leash.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You need to have a constant leash on him.
She can never let go.
You can never let go. Like, unlike with Sylvester, where he can sometimes let go of Rosemyne's leash, do not let go of Hartmut. He will kill someone.
Be careful with Hartmut. That is why Ferdinand always told Rozemyne, like, yeah, I had the same thing happen to me with Eckhart. Now you have to be very careful with how you handle Hartmut. So, yeah, good thing that he's more or less under control, more or less. And with the name swearing, I think she has better possibility of controlling him, but I don't know.
Who cares about Hartmut? We got a Bridget cameo. She delivered paper right when the plot needed.
Bridget cameo. Okay.
Bridget.
Okay, I see you feel very strongly. I'll let you take the floor.
I'm so sad she's been taken out of the story. Like, man, I miss my part 3. Let's just go on a Dragon Ball adventure and collect ingredients.
Oh, yes, please.
Like, why does it have to be politics? Ugh. Anyway, there's my soapbox.
I miss Brigitte. Brigitte was a fun character.
Yeah, she was a cool lady.
And she was hot as hell.
Oh yeah.
You're not supposed to say it outright, man. Jeez.
Dude, I can't help it. She got me down bad.
Fine. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that she's fine. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging when someone is fine as hell.
Exactly. She was one of the finest female characters.
Yeah, you got that picture of her in that dress colorized? Like, throw that up.
Oh,
woo!
Oh my god, woo!
Can I even I can't bring it. I can't. It's not right now. It'll mess up everything. You have imagination. You have imagination.
I've taken up way too much of the plot's time. Let's talk about how Benno was basically psychic.
Yes, he already knows that something was gonna happen. Benno is
You're
the
saying
man.
I need to get this done in 3 years? Fuck it. She means 1, guys. Let's go.
I hope. Yeah. Anyway.
And The fact that it was mentioned 3 times this episode has me feeling like this isn't just your average foreshadow. This is advanced foreshadow.
Yeah. Now,
has gone through this so many times that he now knows. Shorten it by a minimum of 1/3, and you'll be shorten it by a minimum of 1/3, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, after all these years, he knows how Rozemyne works. It'll be faster.
Yeah, don't trust Rozemyne's schedule.
And it'll be at a bigger scale than anticipated.
Yeah.
All right. 8. Maximal quality samples. Are we halfway through the book already?
No,
we're not.
Wait.
What?
Wait.
You're the one that's been telling us about tangents.
I'm just. Oh my god. Yeah, I know. But you're skipping over like one of the best gags in the book. She's just like, okay. Oh yeah, I forgot my library has an estate attached to it. It has like an entire working workshop and everything like that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like it's like, oh yeah, Lazfam, he's the head of my library. Like he manages my library. No, he manages your estate. He does more than just your library. But the fact that she compartmentalizes the entire estate is just, oh yeah, it's my library.
Yeah, every time she talks about going to that place, she always calls it her library. Like, I'm gonna go to my library. Yes, I'll take dinner there. Yes, I'll sleep there. Yes, I'll do workshop there. But it's a library. So yeah, it's one of those little idiosyncrasies that Rozemyne has about the place that the house that Ferdinand gave her. She calls it the library because it's the library.
It is. Well, it's like all her books.
Biggest library in Ehrenfest.
It's a continuation from her Urano days. She actually slept in her libraries a few times, and she ate there a few times as well. For the original side stories that got to start.
Yeah.
So that's Urano through and through, just in Rozemyne form.
Of course, Urano is a mad book lover, so. All right, making maximal quality samples. So Rozemyne, Hartmut, and Clarissa, along with her guard knights, go to her library, Ferdinand's estate, to brew. They began by experimenting on improving Effin and Nansev paper, but they cannot get the quality past normal. There's like tiers, right? They want maximal, they can only probably get it to high or maybe normal. Anyway, as they improved the paper, the intrinsic qualities increased. Ephraim paper produced cleaner sound and could be used to cast spells after adding mana. Nansev paper repaired itself much faster, but could not withstand the magical flames of contract. After adding gold dust to the recipe, the quality shot up to high, but only Rozemyne or her namesworn could write on it due to her strong mana blocking all other mana. And by combining them with Nanseb, Effin, and Trombe paper along with gold dust at each step, they managed to make maximal quality paper, then sent the paper, the ingredients used, and the brewing instruction with Sylvester to take when he leaves for the summer funeral. Now, this was all insane, like the amount of work and the amount of mana that they had to use on making this paper. Even her arch noble scholars, when they tried to help her and try to replicate the process, they had to like take rejuvenation potions and restore their mana overnight, and just to make like very little progress. And
it was 2 sheets. They could make 2 sheets.
So it was very little.
That just destroyed all of their stuff. Made all the gold dust in one shot and made like multiple batches of paper.
And by herself, which is not something that anybody can do. And another thing is Rozemyne's like being like very like disappointed because they're not getting high quality paper, but as they're doing this, they're getting some really awesome inventions as they go. So, but no, she doesn't care about those inventions. All she cares about is getting the maximal quality paper. That's just Rozemyne. That's how she works. So that's how she works. Now we have.
She doesn't care for the invention. She wants to please Ferdinand.
Well, I don't even know if it's that. It's just like Ferdinand told me to do this, therefore I need to do this. I must be capable of doing this. And even when we get it at the end, Ferdinand's just like, how the heck did she do this? So, I think he's just like, okay, I'll just write this and see if she shoots for the moon, and if we get lucky, we get lucky. And we got really lucky that she is an absolute idiot. Let's just power through it with mana.
Baka. A manabaka. Yeah.
She's an airhead and an idiot. She doesn't understand common knowledge at all.
Well, yeah.
Well, we come to learn it's like a mixture of like multiple things. There's even a comic thing joking about it at the end. She's just like, yeah, I got like 3 different things telling me I'm wrong in my head already. I don't know which one's which.
It's true.
All right. And then afterwards, we have the coming of age ceremony and Sylvester's departure. Rozemyne has to convince her temple retainers that having all of the underage apprentice priests participate in ceremonies should be allowed in order to make the handover of duties easier on everyone. Because remember, they're underage, so they shouldn't really be in during that time, but they have to learn, so it's an educational experience. Now, she succeeds, but only by waiting until the summer coming of age ceremonies to give the apprentices time to prepare their ceremonial robes, along with materials and carriages to be able to travel. She also gives Sylvester all of the paper and the materials and all the stuff that Ferdinand wanted. So he's going to go take it, and he's going to check that Ferdinand got his hidden room and that he's okay. And finally, we get Clarissa. Giving her name to Rozemyne, a stark difference in how the ceremony goes. Now, can we talk about just that one line you guys? There was one line that just
that sounded like a proposal. That one line. I read that line in a live read. It was funny as hell. It sounds so much like a proposal.
Yeah. It was oh man, I forget. It was Lady Rozemyne, please take my everything or something like that.
Something like that.
It's literally like Lady Rozemyne, please take my everything. And then I was like, everyone was just why? Oh my god, Clarissa, calm it down, was my reaction.
For sure. So again, being a menace, of course. And then after that, we have the kids' tea party. Now, the kids' tea party is just the children being, having like a time together. No parents, it's just them. Wilfried, all the archducal kids, Wilfried, Charlotte, Melchior, Rozemyne. They're having a nice time. And in this one, Charlotte thanks her for all of her help in opening paths for her future. She also points out how different the points of views are between the newer and the older generations. This was really, really interesting to read, and how Ehrenfest needs to behave more like a higher ranked duchy, and how Rozemyne's connections and efforts have helped facilitate that change. And she is also almost kind of like pledging to continue to do it so that all her progress is not lost. That is very, very important, because Rozemyne worked really hard for all these years, and it would suck if all her progress were lost the moment she leaves. So good thing we have Charlotte, who's going to be like an interim.
Not just Rozemyne worked really hard during all these years. She pushed everyone, especially the people in her year, to work so hard that they are now on a whole other level. Like, the people in her year are basically godsend level at this point. Like, how the heck are they not recognized as, like, they're probably the smartest people in Ehrenfest just because they were in the same year as Rozemyne and she kicked their asses to keep going.
Well, yeah, I'm glad that, everybody at this point, this is why everybody's upset that the lazy gangs wanted them to drop their rank again, because that would mean, like, you're not fully understanding how much effort it took to get this far. So yeah, they're like,
don't understand
how
much torture they went through to get this far. You don't understand. They do not understand how much Rozemyne tortured these kids.
Well, that's Wilfried's fault. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't know how to administer the medicine, so it ended up turning into poison for them all.
Also, can I just say, we skipped over the fact that Bonifacius is an absolute psycho in his training.
Tell me.
Oh my god, so true.
Because, everyone's basically just like, yo, Rozemyne, you need to send him an ordinance, basically thanking him for training.
Oh, yes.
If you don't, I don't know if we're going to live anwhere, because every day is a personal hell.
Thank you for
making these up.
Yes.
Didn't Nicholas and, like, it was who? It was Nicholas and who Lisa Lida or no Judith, one of the two, told Rozemyne that she needed to tell Bonifacius right now.
Thank you for coming to train the kids. This will be really yeah. And then
it's like, please, what do I say? I will repeat it verbatim.
After we find out that her just her saying that probably saved Damuel for the day.
Yeah.
Poor Damuel, the noble sacrifice we must not soon forget. And then we forget all about him.
Damn.
Like the sticker you were supposed to make that you still haven't made.
Damn.
Dang, girl. I didn't think you would roast me on live.
How many times have I roasted you on live at this point?
I roasted you in the video anyway.
Every video.
You roast me all the time. How can I not roast you in back? You know?
Okay, Aaron's back.
Well, speaking of roast, this tea party kind of turned into a bit of a roast, you know? There was also a few interesting things we learned, like the fact that those personal noise canceling magic tool should not be used by children. You know, Ferdinand just straight off like, yo, child, use this to shut up. Because, like, don't even use it for an intended purpose.
Such a frivolous use of mana. Yeah, that was so frivolous of him to do that. Yeah.
Well, it kind of makes me wonder if it was, like, purposeful or not. Because, like, half of everything we've learned so far is just, like, what do we attribute it to? Either Ferdinand's malice or Ferdinand's efficiency, you know? I don't mean to say malice. I meant to say ignorance. Because, like, he was grown up in such a way where he probably didn't interact with them as a children, and he didn't have to interact with other children to know not to interact with children with those, you know? Like, it kind of makes me wonder. It's just like, what can be attributed to just ignorance or malice? So
honestly, I think it's probably just the fact that both of them have an unholy amount of mana that basically none of them realize that this is not normal. To the point where in the kids' tea party, literally every single one of them agrees that Rozemyne and Ferdinand are the abnormal ones in this family, not them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just roast her.
Much to her dismay, she's called abnormal, and they. It's so sad for her. By the way, I think there's a comic. Let me see if I can put it. Yeah, here we go. Thank you to A Little of Something who colored all the comics. At the end of the chit chat, I'll go through all the comics because they were absolutely delightful. But yeah, she's extremely abnormal. So while this is going on, they're discussing rumors that are circling around that Rozemyne is becoming the sovereign high bishop, and we, like, at this point they're like, who's saying these rumors? Like, it's like insane because they're like talking about this, but the main culprit or the person that's responsible for the leak is like right there. He's just like acting like, yeah, what's going on? So they're talking about this. They also talk about how and then while they're talking, an ordinance arrives, and it is Hartmut revealing that the Lazy Gang elders are antagonizing Florencia about the rumors of Rozemyne's departure. So they have stormed into the castle and are now like demanding that Florencia and answer for these things that Rozemyne's going to be sent to the sovereignty. So
I was really expecting a Darth Mine moment where she's just like, "You're doing what to endanger a pregnancy? This is another potential baby sister. You know, don't you? I'm gonna get real mad, angry eyebrow laser beams,
or like more like rainbowy eyes kind of thing."
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was a bit of a shame that the Darth Mine moment didn't happen, but they did resolve it quite well, I have to say.
Oh, I felt so used afterwards, though.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, because these kids, they went out, like, with the best of intentions, but it turns out it was all a devious plot by Hartmut's father, right? Because Hartmut's father is the head scholar of Florencia, so he devised the plan. And then the funniest thing is that it was Hartmut who like, messed up his plan. So two evil geniuses messing up each other's plans. Beautiful.
Yep. They're definitely related.
Oh, they are so related.
Where's the Spider-Man meme of Hartmut and his dad
Oh
pointing
yeah.
at each
Oh
other?
my god.
Dude, but Lebrecht, like, it makes me kind of like really not trust Lebrecht because like he went this far to do this ploy. It's just like I am never gonna trust you ever again.
Yeah, there were some things about Lebrecht that people are already finding like, he's kind of like really like he's a Hartmut, but since he's not on our team, we don't trust him. So
He's on Florencia's team, which is not on Team Ehrenfest.
That's right.
Which
is interesting because you would think that a lazy gang would be into Ehrenfest, but there's a whole bunch of like, I think there's like a story behind it, but we won't go into that now as to why he's serving her. So they run off to defend Florencia. And we have the lazy gang elders. Once Rozemyne and her siblings reach the meeting room, they are let in, and they are bombarded with requests to make her the next ob, implying that Sylvester is being blinded by favoritism. Rozemyne clears away the rumors and chastises the lazy gangs for being so short-sighted. If the rumors were true, then Wilfried would be the one to take over as High Bishop right away. But due to their terrible treatment of him, it would not be surprising for a lazy gang to not receive religious ceremony. So yeah, like you guys are like antagonizing the one guy who will be calling the shots when he is sent to the temple, as you say it's going to happen, or as you say should happen. So I don't know how you hope to win from this situation. That's basically what she's saying. Of course, Wilfried is not helping here. So we're saying how Rozemyne has so much trouble socializing, but Wilfried is actually really bad at it too. Like he's really tone deaf. He says things that he really shouldn't, antagonizing the elders. That was hilarious. But I mean, he's saying some things that are true. I think there was a meme also somewhere there. Like for example, when they say, Wilfried says, you elders should just join the temple if you want to have your lands replenished with mana. If I am ever thrown into a temple, that's what's going to happen. Like, I'm not going to give you guys mana. And so he's antagonizing them. And Rozemyne's like, once again, he's failed to read the room, but he isn't wrong. So that was a fun meme.
Yeah.
He also said that they're being tricked, which is the last thing they want to hear from him.
Yeah. So that's ironic, to say the least, right?
That's what really got him riled up.
They were so riled up.
Right, Life Gang.
Yeah.
Life Gang is just so stupid sometimes.
Well, they again, it's good intentions. They have the best of intentions. They want to save her.
They don't listen to Rozemyne and her opinions, and they basically are like, "But we know that you want this," and they're like, and she's like, "No, I don't want this. Leave me alone." And then they're just like, "But we know you want this." Like they're adults not listening to the wants of their lady. How dare they?
Yeah. So,
Rozemyne ran into them in this chapter.
Yeah, so Rozemyne points out that the revival of ancient ceremonies has enriched the harvest of all provinces. So Lazy Gang no longer has, that overwhelming influence it had. That was their leverage, that they were the producers of food in Ehrenfest. And if they weren't treated well, then all of Ehrenfest would suffer, right? But Rozemyne's like, yeah, that's not the case anymore. We can import. We can also like have the North now be the breadbasket, since all of these things are they are now able to produce more food with their rituals. So they no longer have that leverage. Thanks to their connections with other duchies, trade is much easier. Their influence would be completely removed. So that kind of gets the wind out of their sails. And after the meeting concludes, it is revealed that Barthold, Wilfried's name-sworn retainer from the former Veronica faction, was the one who leaked false rumors about Rozemyne. He also gave Wilfried false tasks to complete, in the guise of them being from the Lazy Gang faction, further souring their relations. And in fact...
just say this. Florencia being like, Wilfried will have to realize it on his own, because I'm not going to tell him anything.
Oh, yes. Why can't she just do it like Elvira? Elvira did it well. You tell your child and then put your child to practice what you tell your child to do, right? It doesn't have to be like, just let him sink or swim, because that's what's happening. She's just letting him sink. or swim, and he's sinking real fast.
Well, I don't think she really
sinking,
views him the
and
same
it's
way
not
as she
gonna
views
stop.
Scarlet.
No, she doesn't. He's a special case. I don't think he's prepared to have the same learning experience that Charlotte would have. I'm sure that if Charlotte were in the same situation, she would have enough the tools necessary, or at least the people around her would be able to help her sort out through like all this cobwebs of, intrigues. But Wilfried is
problem
not
with
Charlotte, and
Wilfried-
he doesn't have that same training she's had, nor the same loyal retainers. So anyway.
True. Literally, Wilfried, like, 2 most loyal retainers, like fuck Alexis and
Lebrecht.
Lebrecht?
Mm-hmm. No, wait. Lamprecht.
Lamprecht.
Mhm.
I was like, that's not Lebrecht.
No, it's Lamprecht, yeah.
Alexis
We haven't
and
even
Lamprecht
mentioned how
are
great he is.
trying to jump ship.
Well, they tried, but thankfully they're
They
still
tried,
stinking
and they
wood.
were told, no, you are going to go down with him unless you can find your lord incompetent and prove it.
Mhm.
You are not coming back.
Now
I'm not sheltering you.
here's the other thing. We learned that in this chapter that it was one of his guard knights, and in this case we know it's Alexis, thanks to that previous POV that pointed this out, brought the attention to to Florencia. And also we see that Rozemyne notices that Lamprecht is way at the back of all her retainers. He used to be at like right next to, like, at the head of all the retainers. Now he's relegated to the back, and his spot has been taken over by Bartholds. Pretty sad, but
Why did that happen? Because Wilfried could not take a criticism about the fact that Lamprecht was right about not going to Life's gang.
yeah.
As much as I love you, Wilfried, you are a dense person.
Speaking of dense, Millie Kitty in the chat says meme of Dietlinde as a skeleton underwater as a reply to my saying that the educational system is sink or swim. So Dietlinde is the skeleton underwater.
Dietlinde is the definition of sink or swim.
She has sunk like a lead ball. Yes, go on, Fergie.
No, I was just gonna say, like, can we just say how much we can like appreciate Lampert for taking the bullet of Wilfried instead
Oh my
of
god, that
Eckerd?
pure
Like,
child.
Yes.
like Veronica was just gonna be so toxic, and he's just like, you know what, bro? I'll take this. I know you're suffering right now because of all Ferdinand shit, and then
And
like
your dead wife and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's just like, you're in a real bad place right now. I got this, buddy. It's cool.
I know.
And then the fact he stays with him this entire time when he had opportunities to like go back and like, you know, my duty here is done. I could like, no, it's just like, I'm your charge. I'm with you until the end because that's what the job is. And just like, no, yeah, he's a G. He's good.
Yeah, we don't really think much about Lamprecht, but yeah, he came in when it clutch when he just needed to take over. Otherwise, imagine what would have happened. Veronica pressuring and ultimately putting. Oh my goodness, we know how that would have ended.
A bloodbath. Oh my god,
my
he would
goodness.
murder so many people.
And then his family would be all murdered.
Kill Wilfried and go on a murder spree. And if he even gets to Veronica's room, then she's dead, and then he's going to be executed, and then the
His
entire family is going to be
jeez.
and then Ehrenfest completely falls apart.
Oh.
You know, I love that bit of timeline. Someone write it. Just someone out there.
You do it.
Lamprecht saved this timeline. Lamprecht saved this timeline.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just hoping Wilfried realizes at some point that, hey, I feel like I'm getting manipulated over here.
Oh, let's hope,
never.
but I don't think it's gonna happen unless they explain
I
it
don't
to
think
him.
it's gonna happen. I think Bertram is going to end up dying.
Who knows? We'll see. I don't know.
He's gonna be the next person purged.
I mean, he's just going to be like an See, here's the thing, though. It's very, very precarious. Very sorry the state that we're in because he's just one of the several name-sworn retainers. So, if this gets out of what he did, it's going to have an implication on all the other name-sworn retainers. Charlotte has one name-sworn, and then Rozemyne has
Also,
4,
too many.
so they're all going to be affected by what happens with this. So it's a situation that is very tricky and delicate. I don't know, man. Ugh, somebody please.
It's so delicate, and basically this all happened because they didn't check the intentions thoroughly of everyone that were like Rozemyne, like the people that joined Rozemyne, we could tell from a long time ago
that they were kind of
they were on Rosemyne's side. Bertram, I don't think was ever mentioned as a person that liked the new system.
In fact, it is said that he loathes Wilfried and he loathes Sylvester for having turned their back on Veronica. That's pretty strong words.
Like they did. I'm pretty sure that is pretty easy to figure out by talking to people. You know, like if Wilfried had a Hardmut in his service, this whole situation would have been avoided.
Yeah,
but what's the phrase?
And also, this whole situation could have been avoided if Oswald was like taken out of his service immediately. This was a huge failure on for Florencia and Sylvester's part of not taking Ortwin.
But we can't do that to him. He's too young. We need someone who's known him forever. Ittle be too much of a shock.
In a way, then that's also Rosemyne's fault because she's the one that said it. They were going to do it immediately. They were going to replace all of his retainers immediately. But she's like, no, because it'll be too short. So ultimately, it just goes back to that. To Rosemyne's fault.
All Rosemyne's fault that Wilfried ended up like this.
Yes. Okay.
So it's also part of the reason why he's even alive now to make mistakes.
It turns out the true mastermind was someone else.
Philip A. Demick. Yeah, Philip A. Demick says, why didn't they just use Schutzerius' shield on Bertram or on the other kids? You know, they just kind of took it for granted that the kids, being kids, they weren't malicious. And, you know, this is what Rosemyne's flaw is. She assumes the best of everybody before she meets them. She's not guarded. She just goes like la-di-da. But no, this is a real thing, you know. It has to be careful. So hopefully she has learned her lesson.
Pretty sure. It was mentioned in one of the chapters by when they had like the whole meeting with like all her retainers and everything, and like how like they no longer serve all of their lady's whims, but they serve their lady to protect her from herself. like that. Like, oh yeah, we're serving her to protect her from herself. Like,
ouch.
Riardo was like that too.
Yeah. Well, when you're a child, you need strong people that will not bend when under authority. Because like Riardo was not gonna bend under the authority of somebody who has like a higher status. So that was the case for maybe all of the other retainers. They were like, oh, you know, he's a precious son of the Archduke, so we can't like make him feel sad or angry. So they just did him bad. Like they were supposed to educate him, and they just catered to making him feel happy and emotionally sad. You know? Yeah, that was.
But bad. Also, like Sylvester said, like immediately as he was born, I named him like my successor. I was like. Well, when he debuted, I guess, but like he was already a successor. Yeah, and it's basically like it was a failure on multiple levels.
And then when they got him back, they just did half measures when they should have done so much more.
I know. I love how this is a chapter about Florencia and the lazy games, but we always go back to Wilfried. So let's move on.
Well, no, let's take a break because we're already 2.5 hours in.
Oh, dang, that is true. Do you guys see YouTube people watching? Do you guys see this is what happens when we record, and this is how we get to 5-hour chit chats every single time. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a break. Thank you for that. Break time.
I just needed to
see you guys in about. See you guys in about. See you guys in about 5 minutes. Go do your things. I will just leave the music on for now. Yeah, because We all need that. See you in a bit then. 5 minutes.
Okay. So I'm thinking about going to get myself another boba because I'm almost done with the boba I'm currently drinking. And this isn't enough.
Okay, because that's kind of what I was leaning. It's just like, okay, what about that as a suggestion? But
If
we
you
weren't
want
100%.
more engagement, I would suggest that you essentially have suggestions for what to watch, what to react to.
Because like the plan is we're gonna like watch all of the
We're
MCU
live!
in
We're
one big
live! We're
block
live!
right now.
We're live!
Hello, 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 darling people. We are back.
Hi.
I have an inkling as to what I missed, but we will talk about this later. For now, I hope that you're all refreshed. I am certainly refreshed. So let's continue on.
I will shut off the audio from the live stream now. I was waiting to hear the audio. To be like, oh, we're live again.
Awesome. All right, thank you for waiting for me. So let's return. So we talked about Sylvester returns. No, we didn't. Let's talk about that. Sylvester returns.
Sylvester returns. That's where we are at.
So Ferdinand sends back many brewing materials from Aaron's back, including, most importantly, fish. This is like sends our girl over the moon. It's both prepared fish, unprepared fish, like as in cleaned, ready for cooking. Cooking spices from Letizia, as well as recipes on how to make the really good dishes. And there's also cloth for Rozemyne, which she distributes among herself, her retainers, her family, and of course giving a huge portion of it to Florencia because she wants to support Florencia. And that's a way of that's going to help Florencia with her faction. Now, a group of sovereign knights, he tells us, tried to attack during the funeral, but they were quickly subdued. The reason for their attack is unknown for now. And there was a total of 5 knights who went crazy, 2 of which were killed. So, it is then revealed that Dietlinde has more than a friendly relationship with the King of Lanzenap's grandson, and this is a huge red flag. Because we know that not only is she causing trouble for, lording herself over everybody, calling herself the next Zend, but there's political implications about with this other king's son and these other people, the people from Lanzenap. So that's going to be troublesome further down the line. Anything about this chapter you guys want to talk about?
Okay, so just the fact that Rosemyne's reaction to the fact that there was more carriages than they came back with than they left with, and the fact that she could not even recognize the fact that all the time-stopping magic tools, that by the way are the size of dead bodies, were hers being returned from Ferdinand.
I'm so sad we didn't get a number because she's just like, how many are there? It's just like, please let me know. Don't leave us hanging.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, there was, 3 carriages full just for Rozemyne, to the point that Sylvester had to buy gifts for his children.
Because they were going to feel bad that they didn't get anything from Ferdinand, which...
But I love the discussion that spurred out from that.
This discussion, yes. Who, what? Oh, hey, Jello Cat. Did you just speak? Did I hear your lovely voice?
I was here a little while ago.
Oh, okay. Probably during the break I didn't see you. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on, please.
I mean, like, did they send anything to Ferdinand themselves? Like,
they
Rosemyne
didn't.
is getting back because
they didn't.
They
Rosemyne
didn't.
did.
So
I mean, like, they might feel some sort of way, but she's simply getting stuff in return for what she sent him in the first place.
Right? Yeah, they have no room for complaining. And they're like, yeah, well, he should know that because we're family. He should also think of us. But Rosamund's like, yeah, I didn't want to be this blunt, but I'm going to say it anyway. Yeah, he never received better treatment from your grandma when he was, her stepson. So how is he going to learn such tenderness? He's just doing
and then
what
Charlotte backed it up.
Yeah, he's just doing, yeah. Yeah, go on.
And, like, I just like the fact that Wilfried is the only one that's like, yeah, like, it's normal to get stuff, like, fully new, and then you just have, like, Charlotte in the background, like, I only
got your left, your hand-me-downs.
Melchior's just happy to be involved.
That's true.
Poor Melchior. So they got gifts, at least from Sylvester, and then she got a ton of gifts, and you know she's gonna send back a bunch of gifts. She said she was gonna cook stuff, send the recipes, put more food, send it over, on top of like who knows what else. So this loop of gift giving is never gonna end. Honestly, it just won't end because Ferdinand will not be out gifted.
Good question.
Mhm.
Speaking of, for the side story that you published, that was from a drama CD that featured
Yes.
Ferdinand. Was it the other half of this exchange?
Isn't that a prologue? I feel like it was a prologue.
No, it was a side story that was only a drama CD that you posted on the pre-pub chat.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It was detailed him receiving the food and how he was
like when he
annoyed that he has to send something back.
Yeah, but
and
this
how
is
the
but that story
it-
is set during part 5, volume 7.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so this is when he receives the food from Rozemyne, and then, so no secret, Rozemyne's gonna send over the food, and then Letitia's gonna try the food, and she'll be like, "Whoa, what is this? It's not the same food." So anyway, but that's for next.
good.
Yeah, that's for next volume. We'll talk about that. So yes,
In 2 months, guys. In 2 months.
2 months. Let's see.
Mid-January.
2 months will fly. It does fly. Okay.
It will fly by like a little butterfly.
Oh, but it'll be a good volume. By the way, yeah, it'll be a good volume. Let's go on.
It's gonna be a great volume.
It'll be a good
Alright,
volume.
let's keep going.
Yes,
Keep going.
let us keep going. Keep going. So, letters from Ferdinand. Rozemyne has to distribute the cloth she received from Ehrenfest. Again, we say that she eventually decides to pick some for herself, give some to her retainers. Ottilie tells her, "Aren't you going to reward your hardworking retainers?" So she lets the retainers have some, but then the bulk of it is just going to be given to Florencia, so Florencia can use it as gifts to her people so she can build more support. Rozemyne goes to her library along with her retainers to sort out the rest of her luggage. She reads through the letters from Letitia and Ferdinand. Again, Letitia is being super cute. She thanks her for the magic shoe mill tool that has her parents' voice. Ferdinand's letter, on the other hand, scolds her for her help, telling her that it gave them all more work, and now Ferdinand has to spend more time closer to Dietlinde. Also, now that he moved to another building, it's harder for him to keep tabs on Georgine and what she's doing. So he's complaining. He's just being like ungrateful. And all this time, Rozemyne's like, "What? But I did this all thinking of you." And he's like, "But I shall overlook your So there's a meme that I found that's super cute. So he's like stating all the things that why this is all inconvenience for him, but he says, "I will overlook your," and then Rozemyne's like, you need to work on the meaning of overlook." And there's a meme from The Princess Bride that says, "You keep using that word, and I don't think it means what you think it means." Instead of inconceivable, overlook. So I'm always down for a Princess Bride meme because I love that movie. So anyway, had to just point it out. Now let's see what else. Where were we? Okay, so the royal family decided to not accept a Lanzenev princess. Dietlinde was protesting the decision before Ferdinand scolded her, resulting in her declaration that he doesn't love her. So she's like, "You don't love me." And we saw some of this in the Dietlinde point of view at the end of the book. Ferdinand was surprised by the paper that they made. He's, of course, like, absolutely like, "Oh my gosh, what did you do? What in the world did you do? Because it's so extremely inefficient." Luckily, he worked on it. Now that he has a room of his own, right? He basically holed himself up there for as long as he could, and he had the time of his life, doing all kinds of things he wasn't able to do for months. And he reworked the recipe and sent over the recipe with materials in order to make more of that maximum quality paper. Which when Hartmut and Clarissa saw the modified paper, they were like, "Oh yeah, this is so much better. Like we can totally do this paper. Like the other paper, we weren't able to, but this paper, yes, we are. He's a genius. We're happy. So again, Ferdinand is a genius. We love that about him. And finally, in his last letter, Ferdinand asked Rozemyne, please tell me you're geduld. And Rozemyne remembers the last time he asked something similar. It was if she wished to rule as Zent. And still, Rozemyne is still confused as to what he means, but she knows that it's really significant, that question. But rather than address it or like answer as best as she can, she decides to just not address it. So in her response letter, she doesn't even talk about that. But again, and it was a very important question, because again, Ferdinand is way out in Aaron's back, but he's trying to do his best to like help Ehrenfest the way he can, but he also needs to have more information as to what Rozemyne is doing, feeling. So yeah, again, we have an illustration here that we all just really like. At least it's one of my favorites of this volume. The letter and Ferdinand and who is your geduld. Of course, a lot of people wanted to understand what it meant, and so I think there might be a Ferdinand point of view later on to describe what this letter meant. So look forward to that. I think it's in another volume. Okay, so I talked a lot. You guys, any thoughts about this?
Too many.
Too many. Let's get on to it.
Oh, that letter has like so much like 13-year-old who do you like energy.
Do you like me?
So
check
cringy.
yes or no.
like
Meanwhile,
I don't even like. I almost want to like more relate it to like a guy like begging for pics or something like that. And I'm just like, bro, please stop.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Birdie just wanted a little bit of reassurance is all. Can we blame him?
You
Yeah, I
like,
know,
Ferdinand
but
is like such a simp.
Everybody's fangirling over the illustration, but my first thought when I saw this is, how is that letter folded exactly for the seal to be cut like that?
Oh,
True.
accordion.
accordion, maybe? Who knows?
But then how's... I don't know.
You fold it on you fold in the sides and then you fold it.
Yeah, I know how an accordion fold works. I was just wondering. But then
Okay, yeah.
All right, yeah.
It's a weird way of folding it.
We're at the precipice of another tangent, so let us move on.
Put it on the iceberg.
Anyway, I really, really love this chapter. It's very funny how like Ferdinand is like, oh yeah, like I really did not need this, like not at all, and then just goes like, but I will overlook it and I will accept it with as much honor as possible. But like you're still inconveniencing me. But like, thank you. But like you're still like why'd you do this? Like, come on, Ferdinand, make up your mind.
Well, I think he viewed it more as like a teaching lesson. And it's just like, okay, you need to listen. Like, this isn't how we do a thing. This should have not have happened at all. But regardless, now that it's done, I guess I can appreciate the fact I can do some brewing and stuff. But sheesh, you should not have done any of this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she's like, Ferdinand, why can't you just be grateful for once? Didn't even send her a very good. Even in paper.
The
Sheesh.
very good was needed.
Yeah.
Like, come on. She worked her butt off for you.
I
and
know.
this is how you react.
She went through such...
give her very good.
Just the anguish she went through part 5, volume 5. Let us remember just the anguish she went through during that time at the Archduke Conference. And this is how he repays her. Yeah, it was so sad. It was so sad. Yeah. And this is how you repay her, Ferdinand. Disappointed.
Birdie is...
Hey, we got fish.
Well, okay. We got fish.
I mean,
fine.
We got the fish. We got the good fish, you know, like good fish. But like, come on, Ferdy, please, just.
Hey, we got recipes too.
Good. Oh, recipes, yes, good food.
But no rice. Where's the rice? If he can do the rice, everything shall be forgiven.
Oh yes, please rice.
Or soy sauce.
Or soy
I'm
sauce.
sick and tired of fantasy shows just immediately finding rice, and then they're just like, cool, and now we found 1,000-year-old ginseng, and it's just like, please stop just naming earth ingredients.
Oh my gosh, like
yes.
the saint's powers omnipotence. Like she's like, oh, I need rice, and like, oh, there's like this country from abroad, like they have rice and they have miso paste, and I was like, oh
my god,
on.
yes.
Like,
we need to find some soybeans, guys.
Oh, sheesh. That's
This
not
is
how
a
the world
tangent for
works.
another. This is a tangent for another time.
Hey, there's people in the chat saying they don't mind tangents. Like Navi says, more tangents,
We
please.
don't have the time for it though.
You're right. I have to be out of here by 7.
Speedrun.
True.
All right.
Well, we don't. No, we are not speedrunning this.
We'll try.
We will take a
and we
sweet,
start
sweet
another day?
time.
We can.
Schedule for tomorrow. Thursday?
Honestly, I would be fine scheduling for tomorrow.
I would
Schedule
not be
Thursday?
fine. My
Thursday.
psychological well-being is dependent on me tomorrow, just like putting on the headphones and listening to like music to relax me after all this.
We got an hour. Let's go.
Let's do this. We can do this. We can do this.
We
1 hour,
only
10
have an
minutes.
hour?
Yeah, 1
My
hour, 10
gosh,
minutes.
I was planning on speaking for a minimum of 30 minutes on the Dietlinde chapter.
Okay, let me speed run. There's we can do
We
this.
can schedule for Thursday. How about Thursday? Thursday.
I don't know.
Can do.
I don't know. I can't, you guys. Let's try this. Let's try this. If I need to,
Charlie 3.
let's try this because I do have like stuff to do during the week. Let's do this. The Trombe Hunt and the Starbind Ceremony. Ooh, where's the outline? Here we go. Outline.
I choose you.
Rozemyne begins to brew more pages with the corrected recipe. His recipe needs more materials and takes longer to make, but it needs much less mana. Rozemyne will send nearly completed pages back, and Ferdinand will do the final step upon receiving them. That's pretty smart. Now, they don't have enough Trombe paper to complete the amount of sheets they need, so they will have to harvest Trombes to get enough. Rozemyne takes her name-sworn retainers to the temple and gets their help along with the temple orphans and attendants to harvest Trombes. Now, the retainers, these are her name-sworn, are Hartmut, Lawrence, and Matthias. They're like aghast at seeing like what in the world they're seeing. Like these little fruits turn into Trombes, and this is what this paper is made of. So they're shocked, and they ask her why she keeps the fact that Taos or Trombes are secret, as that would allow the knights to eradicate the Trombes before they become a problem. But Rozemyne points out that they're used during the Commoner Starbind event, and she believes that nothing needs to be changed. And actually, she's going to they're going to stop doing that kind of paper once she goes. So, they're still going to do it, but they're not going to harvest the way she does. Like, she purposely fills the Trombe with mana, and whenever they need that kind of paper, so they're not going to do that anymore. If they're going to do more fireproof paper, Trombe paper, it'll be like stuff that they gather organically out in the forest or whatever. So that's just to make sure that there's no accidents in the temple taking place, especially now that there's nobles coming in and out of the temple and children who have mana. Now, we are given an actual amount of mana needed to sprout a Trombe. This is pretty interesting and significant. An adult lay noble learning the compression method could actually struggle with doing sprouting a Trombe. So it takes quite a lot of magical power to sprout a Trombe. And that just goes to show you just how much of a monster Mine was back in her Shrine Maiden days.
Even before that, back when she first touched a Trombe.
Oh.
In her first year.
Yes, that's true.
Being mine.
Yeah, out in the forest.
She didn't even notice her mana being sucked out, but she sprouted one immediately.
Yeah. It's because she's been handling mana and she knows what it feels like.
Mm. Yeah, so the amount of mana required now is like no longer like it's like negligible to her now. Because again, before in the previous book, like she's so used to feeling charms and things sucking out her mana constantly 24/7 that she no longer feels it when something like small takes out her mana. So even a Trombe, she doesn't even feel it anymore. That's so crazy. Yeah. So after the Commoner Starbind ceremony, Rozemyne suggests to Damiel that he marry Feline. Again, this is from what we already talked about earlier, and she tries to clear any misconceptions about who Feline is interested in. Of course, Damiel is super happy. He is, but he's also defeated in the matters of romance. He has lost all confidence, but thankfully he now understands that there's hope. There is hope for Damiel, and he wants to hide his little smile, but she saw through it. He's happy that he has to wait for Feline, but it's gonna happen. There's hope for him.
It's gonna happen. He's finally gonna get someone.
Oh, yes.
He's no longer gonna be the only single one.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything more about the Trumbase, making papers, and the Starburning ceremony with Damiel?
Actually, it was pretty self-explanatory, that one.
Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, there was a one line that Damiel's like, yeah, I've lost hope. Even one of your retainers had said, oh, by the time my firstbborn has their baptism, you'll still be single. And he does not give any names, but she immediately knows Hartmut. Hartmut is wicked. And I would not have him any other way.
Hartmut is such an innocent being. You guys don't understand his genius.
Brandon, you've been awfully quiet. Tell me more about Hartmut. Tell me about this genius. Oh, that's...
Hartmut is just... He does it because he tries to push all the retainers in the right direction, even if they don't wanna.
Oh, true.
He is the driving force behind the goddess herself. If only he could always see her divine inspiration.
I love it.
If
only. Now let's continue on. Thank you, Brandon, for that.
Yeah.
I kind of missed it. I have to be honest. All right. Tuli's coming of age ceremony. I love this part so much. Damiel officially enters Bonifacius' service and is suggested as an advisor to Melchior. Melchior accepts and asks for his retainers to be trained by Rozemyne's retainers while they're still in Ehrenfest. We learn here that pretty much everybody in the archducal family is eyeing Rozemyne's retainers. They want to pounce on them because they're so well trained. They are they really want them in their payroll. They're like, I want their skills. But no, she's not gonna let them go easily. So that's the best that she can do for now. They can help train. Now, Leonor suggests that Rozemyne uses her personal crest on a wearable item as a symbol of their devotion to her to keep her retainers, commoner or otherwise, from being harassed into serving someone else when she leaves. Now, here's the thing. This is for all those that are staying behind in Ehrenfest. But she makes some for her family. She makes some for her Gutenberg. She makes some for so on and so forth. Charlotte. Oh, Charlotte asked for a special medallion one. A special one that would be different from the ones that she gives to her retainers. But
doesn't at some point Wilfried, Charlotte, and Melchior all want one?
Yeah. Later they talk about
all want one.
Later they talk about it. Now, but the thing is, there's a couple of there is a couple of people that don't need it. Hartmut and Clarissa, they're not going to stay behind. They don't need a medallion or a little pendant or nothing, but they still want one anyway. So she gives them one just to keep them quiet.
So they don't harass the other ones.
Yes.
Because apparently Hartmut has already harassed all her name-sworn retainers.
Yes. Speaking of that, there are so many pictures of, well, not so many. There's a comic of, for example, let's see. Again, this one was colored by a little something. It's Hartmut saying, "How nice for you, Roderick. You always connected to Lady Rozemyne, no matter how far apart you might be." And then poor Roderick. He's like, I guess. And he's like, "And worry not, that connection will remain even while you continue to make mistakes. Not that I would ever make any." And then Roderick is like, "Mistakes? What? And then
you just have Lawrence and you just have
Lawrence and Matthias.
Yeah, being like, "Is this gonna happen to us now?" Please, no.
Yeah, I know. Because Hartmut is like so petty. He would do that. He's so jealous of the names from retainers. And going back to Hartmut again, because I might as well while we're at it. He wants to trying to convince her to like get her to take his name. Again, that little comic is like, Hartmut, you always go on about giving me your name, but will that really change anything? And he's like, as far as things are, I can offer you my I can actually have... Hartmut, can you read this? Honor Wolf.
Honor Wolf.
What?
Read it.
Do you want to read the comic?
I don't have it up.
Oh, okay. It's the
Go to YouTube.
It's the final comic in the book. Well, it's okay. We can do that later, I suppose.
Give me a moment.
Okay. So let me just continue blabbing on, or everybody else blab on until he's ready.
Oh my gosh! Wait, I just remembered.
Yes.
Do you remember like when we forgot to mention this? Every single person was trying to convince Rosemyne to take Hartmut's name. Like none of, even Damuel was like, yeah, no, you should take his name. Like everyone's like, we are so tired of him talking about how much he wants to have you take his name. Please just take it. Like, and Rosemyne's like, no one's on my side.
I know. So, and speaking of, you got it? Okay, read it, please.
All right. So
better service.
All right. Here we go.
You have to read back.
Oh, I have to read? Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
I gotta turn off. Sorry, I'm hearing two different sides of voices, so I'm waiting for one voice.
Okay, so Rozemyne says, Hartmut, you always go on about giving me your name, but will that really change anything?
As things are, I can offer you my undying loyalty, but if you accept my name, I can be more attentive, the slightest details, and prepare things further in advance. Plus, I can better guarantee your safety at all times. So, are you ready to upgrade?
And Rozemyne thinks, he's like one of those pushy pop-up ads. I'll stick with the free version, thanks. Speaking of which, there's two memes that I forgot to include here when Ottilie wants to just give Hartmut to Rozemyne. So hilarious. I need an adult, and then Ottilie says Hartmut is an adult. There's that one. And then the other one, let me pull it up. Again, when Elvira says, it is only natural for someone who has moved away to worry. I worry about Eckhart and Lord Ferdinand as well. Riarda is definitely concerned about Eustace. And of course, Ottilie, another noble mother, she has that little side-eye look. Hilarious, of course. Ottilie's just so over his antics, especially now that she has two of them to deal with, Hartmut and Clarissa. All right.
My gosh.
I was not expecting a TFS reference in Bookworm.
Pardon?
Don't worry about it.
Oh. Something reference? Something? Oh.
Yeah,
TFS.
the I am an adult is a TFS reference.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes. So let us continue on. Where were we?
We were
Tully's coming of age ceremony. Yay! So Damiel officially enters. Oh, wait, I already did this. So while making copies of the crest, because she has to make so many of those, Rozemyne ponders if she can copy the design as if she was using a tablet, and she manages to make a new spell. She calls it copy and place, not copy and paste. It works, but
she accidentally misspells.
This is the funniest gag in the entire volume.
Oh yes,
honestly, yeah. She's like copy and place, and then she in her head she's like, "Oh no, I meant copy and paste."
And it works, but it's only on Fey paper and only with mana ink. So, no fun. So she also despairs on mispronouncing it because she used copy and place when she should have used copy and paste, and now that's set in stone. Like that is the spell. She can no longer change it. Again, we have a few memes, or at least one meme covering that one, which Jonathan was kind enough to make and share with us. And of course, this copy and paste gets only more hilarious as time goes on.
As time goes by.
Yes, no more of that. So yeah, it'll come in handy in the future, for sure.
It's always handy to have a copy, a copy and paste.
Copy and
paste.
paste.
Can you just imagine how many magic circles, like how many times she can copy and paste the Washin magic circle?
Many times. Let's go on.
She can clean all the shrines.
Yeah. So let's see. I keep going to Damiel officially enters. So she makes the copy and paste spell. Now Rozemyne starts giving her charms, her emblazoned charms, to her retainers and her commoner workers. Even Thule has hers, and she tells Rozemyne to give a normal blessing during the ceremony because she knows that her sister's gonna get carried away. Rozemyne's like, okay, fine, I'll be good. But on the day on the day of, it all goes all that effort to do everything as properly so that Melchior would learn the way it should be done. She just gets carried away. At first she does the normal blessing. Thule is very happy that she did not get carried away, but once the doors open and she sees her parents, and she just gets all her mana starts to stir, and then she sets out this ginormous blessing, of which we have an illustration. Where's the illustration?
The face of Thule in that illustration.
So precious.
Hilarious.
So precious.
Yeah, that pouty face.
By the way, anything you guys want to talk about this chapter? Or about this illustration?
This illustration, honestly, is just the funniest. The way that you just see the big sister stare of you, how dare you? It is you have officially, I am pissed. How dare you do this to me? You promised. And Rozemyne's like, I'm just a kid. Nothing's gonna happen to me. She's like,
I'm in danger.
I'm embarrassed. I'm in danger. My sister's gonna kill me.
Good thing she has several arch knights or several retainers between to keep her safe.
She has a heart mode.
No, guys, it's cool. It was a bonus blessing. It's fine. Just chill out.
It's a bonus blessing. It's a bonus blessing. I did it to show them what a blessing can be.
Yeah. So
you don't need face stones. It's cool.
You don't need face stones. This is just me being special. At least, poor Melchior, he's finally getting the hint that he can't be Rozemyne, he can't be Ferdinand. He just has to be himself, and that's really is more than enough. Just, she's abnormal, so he's finally getting the hint. All right, so let's go on to the next one. It's interviews with the Ob. So we have... The priests are finally leaving for the harvest festival. The apprentices are being paired with adults in order to learn the ceremonies and for them to acquire what they need for the winter. Again, every time you go out, people go out to do harvest, they get a cut of that, so of all because they do rituals. So luckily for them, they will add extra stuff for the long cold winter. As Bertram is one of the orphans being interviewed by the Ob, Rozemyne tells his brother Lawrence to have a serious talk with him to ensure that he is willing to serve the Ob, despite the fact that his parents were essentially killed by his orders. During the Ob's interview, Dirk makes his resolve clear and earns the Ob's approval to become a noble, despite the negative reputation that he will have to face. However, Bertram makes his opinion on him being a noble and not an orphan clear. He still resolves to serve Melchior as a retainer and also earns the Ob's approval. So he's kind of being a little I don't like this.
Brat.
Yeah, he's being a little brat, and I really thought that earned him I was like, yo, how is he actually earning his approval at this point? Especially now that we know that it's really dangerous it'll be to have the situation with Bertram, not with Bartold. You could have a Bartold redo in here, and I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised that Sylvester's allowing it, but okay. He's very optimistic, and okay.
Sylvester and Rosemyne are so optimistic that sometimes, like, I feel like I'm seeing the same person in double.
Well, they do have the same colored hair. And they're both weirdos. Remember, they were calling each other weirdos at the beginning. The antiquam for Groeschel is soon approaching, and it will be performed soon after Florencia gives birth. They wanted to just have Clarissa to help during the antiquam. They were like, yeah, she knows about large-scale amplification circles, so let us use her. And Rozemyne's like, yeah, it's best if every single one of us, like all of the archdukes, we send all of our arch-noble retainers to help, not just Clarissa. Because first of all, Clarissa, she's not even yet full-on Ehrenfest noble. She's still a Dunkelfelder noble, and she won't be an Ehrenfest noble until she marries Hartmut, and that's not gonna happen soon.
So, I'm just gonna say this.
What?
This is the second time you've said Ehrensbach instead of Ehrenfest.
Yep.
Well, at least I'm not using other names.
Spoiler name. By the way, earlier I wanted to say like, we're finally at the part where you spoiled us last time.
No, stop it, stop it. You guys are never gonna let me live down my errors. That's why I have to remove some videos, because I know that embarrassing things happen there. So it's best if I just take them down. Mischief
Once it's on the
makers.
internet, it's there forever.
Yeah, I know.
It's there forever. I can just look it up if I want by going on a time back machine.
Well, who can say, what can I say about that? I can't do anything about that. If you feel that it's worth the efforts to do that, then actually if you feel that's like that, okay, fine, whatever. Okay, moving on.
You do this to me every single time we're on the live stream. Not one live stream was I not being told either that I was going to be muted or that there's the new joke coming up about me.
Ladies, the tension.
I think I should move on.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So, where were we? Okay, so Florencia goes into labor soon after causing all of her siblings and the Ob to go to the castle. So they all have to like support her. Rozemyne, though, she's not a blood related, so she cannot help. All she can do is pray for Florencia, so she does so. And the antiqual happens soon after without any issues. Okay, so anything about this chapter?
It's a girl.
It's a girl. That's right. I wonder what they're gonna name her. I hope it's a pretty name. All right.
We got another baby. Finally, I forgot. I'm the only. Alos is not here. I'm the only one that's celebrating.
Yeah.
Oh no, a child.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
I've been celebrating for the past few chapters that we're getting a new sibling.
I know.
It's a baby girl. Like it's.
Well,
I was so excited.
Well,
Yay!
good for you that the child was born
now
nicely.
Will the child have blue hair, or will it have or will it be blonde? We don't know anything about this child yet.
I hope it's a blue-haired girl so that she looks just like
Milky, or yeah.
Yeah, she's a tiny baby Rosemyne. Like imagine that.
What if they named her after Rozemyne? Ooh, that would be cute.
My God.
That would be the only thing that would make me excited for this child. Is if she looks like Rozemyne and is named after Rozemyne.
Oh,
I know. I'm so
that'd be
excited
so
for this
cute.
child. I had been so excited that Rosemyne, Magpie literally patronized me every single time because I was cheering.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't.
Chit-chat.
I was not.
Every single chit-chat.
I was not I was
cheering.
not being mean to you. Not just you. I also a little of something. So don't. Yeah. All right. So
Comment in the comments is right.
yeah, Thomas
Just to
70 Thomas 70 says in the chat, another baby that Rozemyne will get torn away from shortly after it's born. Oh no, that is true.
Oh,
Whole
no.
story is just parallels.
Yeah.
I know.
Get to meet
This is the
the
third
baby.
one. No, fourth. Wait, yeah, fourth one.
Fourth? Really?
Let's see here. Camille,
One. Dirk?
Aurelia's child, Dirk.
Dirk.
Actually, Karina's child.
Renata?
Renata.
Uh-huh.
And a 2.
Nada.
And now this one.
Oh,
Actually,
man.
it's 5th.
That's a lot of children. Mine really is not good with children. We've known that forever. She always makes them cry.
Babies hate her.
They must
Sure,
know
it's
something.
romantic capacity.
Maybe. That might be it. So, let us go on. Oh, they need a child with rainbow hair, says Eve Hoffmeister.
Actually,
right.
you know what? Just because I'm going to forget it and I'm never going to mention it again.
What?
The 5th child to happen.
Question.
What?
So, okay, we have Hartmut and Clarissa, and they both have their names sworn to Rozemyne. So,
Mhm.
how is their child going to turn out? You know, because like babies in mana and stuff, and I don't know.
Well,
Is it going to be elemental? Is that a possibility?
Ooh, that's an amazing
Yeah, I think
experiment.
so.
They'll probably do that as an experiment.
When you phrase it like that, it makes me disappointed in them.
You guys.
We're not going to have a child. We're doing an experiment. It's completely different, Rozemyne. Don't look at me that way.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. Well, you do remember also that people born in the sovereignty, they tend to have like a closer affinity to... Oh, wait, this is different. Okay, let's move on.
Well done. Whoa.
This is from another book.
Tacos.
Spoiler, no spoiling.
Let's go.
Spoiler! No spoiling!
I didn't even go far enough to say anything like crucial.
You're
Okay.
pretty close.
Yeah, well, I
Let's
didn't
get
though. I
right
didn't though, because we are
But
protecting.
You thought about it.
So what? I could, if I could tell you how many times I came close to almost spoiling during this chit chat.
Too many. I noticed
many.
that most of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Harvest Festival.
The Harvest Festival. Yes, I'm protecting you, I'm protecting you, Brandon. Please take my side for once, okay, Brandon?
Oh, you're about to call him Hartmut.
Well, because he is Hartmut. That is his role in the Discord. He's Hartmut doing Hartmut things. All right.
Yes. You'll have to change his name eventually.
No, he's Hartmut. All right.
No, like later on.
We'll talk about that later when that time comes. The Harvest Festival and the Gutenberg's choices. The Rozemyne will be going to Hesse to transfer the protective magic to Melchior and to Converger in order to retrieve the Gutenbergs. The handover happens with no issues. Melchior is the solution that he doesn't have enough mana right now to do the full-on takeover the protective magic, but it takes time. And also, it's sad to see that he's not going to be able to learn Rozemyne's compression method. Now, here's the thing about the Rozemyne compression method, and I didn't understand it at first, but it turns out that because she's moving out and she's becoming a royal, you never know what's going to happen in the future politically. So they can't afford to have... to continue to sign those kind of things like, you will not oppose me, you will not be my enemy, because you can't tell what's going to happen in the future. So...
You're right and you're wrong.
And well,
and also Ferdinand was part of it.
Yes, because Ferdinand's signature was required on their previously established contracts.
Yes.
Therefore, they can't continue to reuse that. They'd have to somehow get rid of the contract and then sign a new one for everything. And they're not getting Ferdinand back to do that. So.
Well, yes. Thank you. I was getting there too. The fact that Ferdinand was not there, but yes, there's several things that's preventing them. This is also one of the things. Also, why Charlotte is probably going to not marry. Is not going to marry out of the duchy. She knew that she was not going to be able to marry out of the duchy the moment she signed that contract, because you don't want to become enemies and inadvertently become an enemy, quote unquote, of Rozemyne's if something political happens. Now, after Rozemyne returns to Ehrenfest with her retainers, she invites all of the Gutenbergs to a meeting where she informs them that she will be leaving, and she gives each one of them the choice of staying in Ehrenfest or going with her. So here's the list. Ingo will stay. Demo will go. Demo's actually going to marry the girl Zach wanted to marry or something like that. The girl that Johan wanted to marry, sorry. So, because of course...
That's Danilo.
Oh, that's that Danilo? Well, whatever. Okay.
Danilo.
Thank you, Danilo. they both start with a D. Anyway, okay, so Demo goes. Zach wants to go, but he needs to talk to his wife. But I think it's gonna all work out because his wife also seems to be like keen on traveling. So I think she's also going. Joseph and Heidi will go because they can't afford to leave Heidi behind. She's too used to the fine life of research, getting all these beautiful funds from Rozemyne to do her crazy research, so she's gonna go. They're gonna do all kinds of things so that the workshop that Joseph was going to inherit is gonna go to somebody else, so that's taken care of. Johann will go with his marriage prospect. Oh, there you go. With his marriage prospect falling out, Johann is an acquired taste, says Rozemyne. So, yeah, he's not the only one that's an acquired taste, darling. And also, Charlotte requests a medallion with a crest because she wants to still have a bond with Rozemyne, but not the same kind of bond that she would have with her retainer. She asks for a different decorative element. Anything about this?
Sisters.
Sisters forever.
Sisters.
Sisters, siblings forever.
Yay! Yeah.
And ever.
It's all
and
about
ever.
family.
It's all about family. I like the fact that Charlotte has always been like, you are my sister, and I will always protect you, and I will always be on your side, no matter what happens to you. And I'm just like, she's the most precious little baby ever.
Oh, yes, they're so wonderful together.
You can tell when Florencia has full control over like her children. Like both Melchior and Charlotte turned out like such sweet little beings,
Such
and you have
sweethearts, yeah.
Wilfried.
Wilfried's just a terrorist.
Wilfried has too much of a Veronica tendency and Sylvester's tendencies in order to be functional like for like Melchior and Charlotte.
Now here's
I still
Millie.
love Wilfried, but
Yeah, Millie Kitty says in the chat, Johann and Daniel shaking hands, the forever singles. Well, not for long. Daniel just has to wait a little bit more.
Daniel just has to wait to get a knife to his throat, and then he'll be very happy to get married.
Oh, jeez. All right.
I was about to say Johann and Daniel should form a club.
Yeah, they have, according to Millie Kitty. So, okay, so
The forever single club.
We need the meme of Arnold doing a handshake with what's the name of the other actor from Predator.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. And it is the epilogue. And of course, the epilogue has one of my favorite also images here. Illustrations. We have a Lutz point of view, you guys. This was so much fun. Again,
It was nostalgic. It felt like
yes,
comfy, you know?
yes. It was like going back to part 1 and the lower city people and just
It was
cozy
so
and cute. I thought it was delightful.
I felt like I was back in part 1
Aw.
when we were just like, it's not the important, like we don't have all this important stuff happening around it. It's just chilling and making books. But
And
now
then going
it's
home
just
and carrying
doing-
and doing chores for your mom and talking
Oh my
about
god, that was the
well.
best
Yeah.
part. It's just like, yes, when you come home and your mom says to do something, you do it. 'cause
Yeah.
she's your mom. Like,
Yep.
the
So,
mother is a god. She gave.
Oh
birth
no,
to
I
you.
just noticed a typo.
oh, well,
Oh yeah, by the way, crazy. I just saw the 19 one. Really? You had to do her like that?
okay,
I
we're
see what
getting
you're
there.
talking
We're getting
about. That's
there.
funny though.
All right, so Lutz asks Benno if he knows where Rozemyne is going. He is told it is to the sovereignty and to keep it a secret. Let me change lines. Okay. Benno tells him to talk to his family, as people going with her can bring family with them. So it is revealed that Lutz is engaged to Thule, despite him not being an adult yet. He goes to meet with Thule at her work and gets teased by all of the other seamstresses about their engagement, but of course he's gotten used to it. They go to the plaza together. Of course, when he sees her, he's like struck by by the change. Like he's for a while, he's just like dumbfounded. Like even
Oh my god, that exposed neckline. Ugh.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I
the
saw
nape,
her
the
neck.
nape.
So
This is such a
Yeah,
Japanese thing. Like the nape, the skin of her nape. I was like, oh yeah, that's a Japanese thing. Yeah, he eyed that little bit of neck. So they go to the plaza together and they begin to talk about what has been going on recently. We have Tully's coming of age ceremony, also Camille choosing to work for the planting company, and Lutz's stay in Cumberger. He even brings her 2 presents. Embroidery done in the Cumberger style and a drawing of a flower native to the area for inspiration. These are really good gifts. He knows how to please the girl, and it doesn't take a lot to please a girl. Just give her something that demonstrates that you know about her interests, that you are aware of the things that she likes, and it doesn't have to be expensive stuff. Good job, Lutz. You're doing good. I have high hopes for you both. All right. So anything more about this? Oh, wait. Hold on. Continuing on. Lutz then goes to his parents in order to talk to them about the move to the sovereignty. His mom is there. He basically has this time with his mother. Of course, she's like kind of like, why didn't you tell me you were coming? And he's like, well, I brought food. So he's like, and then the other mothers are like, oh no, she's just upset because she wanted to cook you a good meal, for you coming, and now she doesn't get to do that because you just showed up out of the blue. And so Carla and Lutz go up home, and he helps her. Like Fergie says, like, it's a really, really, really nice moment. It feels really true to life, like mother and son. She's kind of like showing her affection her own way. But Lutz has grown up since he was a little kid. It's been 7 years since back in the day when he was just a little brat, and he couldn't understand what his father was saying when his father told him to just do what he wanted. Now he seems to understand things more, and there's no longer danger of them having to end up back at the temple like they feared before, like back at the temple to sort out their issues, right? It was really fun.
Oh, I love them just reminiscing and talking. And not just them too, but also between Tully and him, just riffing on mine on their way back home. It was
yeah. So it's like so nostalgic, and I kind of feel for Camille not being able to have that kind of connection with Rozemyne. That's kind of sad as well. So anything else about? Go on.
It did break my heart a little bit back when Camille first said, "Who's mine?"
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that was heartbreaking.
Who's Rozemyne? You guys keep talking about this Rozemyne, and then they had to like stop talking about her altogether. Oh yeah. Yeah. So
now can we get to Dietlinde?
Yes. Let's talk about this one. 19.
I'm so excited.
The Lanzanev envoys, and thank you, Crazy Maton, for using the proper nomenclature here. Trashland's perspective.
Trashland.
The Teslin, not Trashland.
Trashland, the Teslin, the Lululand, whatever you want to call her.
Christmas tree.
Christmas tree.
Sure, Christmas tree. So here we have, by the way, illustration colored by, let us not forget, Noemi. This was Noemi's first coloring attempt. Oh, look at you, Noemi.
I love this coloring. I loved it so much. I love this image so much.
even though it's 2 revolting characters, but okay, fine.
I know. But it's like, oh my god!
Okay, so here's the thing. The first time I saw this, and I wasn't the only one that thought of it, but this guy looked a lot like Benno, so people were like, what's Benno doing? I was like, how dare you look like Benno? How dare you?
I also thought, the first time I saw it, I thought it was Benno talking to Dietlinde. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah,
why
right.
is Benno touching Dietlinde's hand? Like,
yeah. So,
and then I was like, oh my god, this is so scandalous. And I was like, I have to draw it. It's so pretty.
Yeah. So again, what I say, my response to that is not Benno, that is just a roach. Look at his antennae.
It's evil Benno.
Evil antenna.
Evil Benno.
And calling him a roach would be an insult to roaches. Yeah. Terrible. Okay.
Ours. I know.
I know. Let's continue on. We got this. We can do this. It's 6:29. Half an hour. We can do this.
Oh my god, I can talk about it for half an hour?
No, we
No,
have
we still have one more
290
part.
items.
We can talk
We can
about
talk
it
about it
for
for
3 more
20
hours.
minutes.
We can talk about it is a very long chapter though. So
7 more hours. 24 more hours.
well, let us continue. What I can no. Well, here's the thing, you guys. I didn't finish reading the book. So I was going to just drop the book and pick up the next book, but I can do another read along and then we can all join together and just talk all we want.
Just blitz through it.
Just go through it. Like, yeah. And anyway. Okay, going on. Trashland's point of view. Dateline.
I know. I was tired, okay?
Yeah, you did an amazing job. I can't believe you got it done within 24 hours. Seriously, that's amazing. It takes me days to do this. So, yeah, outlines are a big deal, you guys. They're really hard to do, so thank you, Crazy. So Dietlinde is exasperated at all of the paperwork that needs her attention. She believes that once she is Zen, she can free herself from all of this asinine work. Yeah, Dietlinde. She is still mad about the way that she was treated by the Zen's third wife, and we finally get confirmation about what what's her face? Magdalena said at the archive, right? Because we know that she said something, but we didn't know what exactly she said that upset Dietlinde. So we know that Magdalena kind of make fun of her because she doesn't know how to even read the ancient language. So she's like made her feel stupid. Good job, Magdalena.
She didn't even take it as a proper insult. She's just like, haha,
Stating
she's
facts.
just degrading my language, not even viewing it as like the barrier to entry to read the damn book. Like,
You need to learn to walk before you run, Dietlinde.
I know. So Dietlinde feels a disturbance in the forest. Someone is trying to enter the duchy's border gate, and she comes to the conclusion that it is a Lanzenab ship. She hurries. She has to change out of her clothes. Unfortunately, Ferdinand arrives before her and questions her on the ship, which changes from black to silver after crossing the gate and then docks. He's like, why is nobody guarding the gates? And she's like, we don't need it. The gate is in the middle of the water. And these people, we already know them. They won't do us any harm. So why would anybody like waste manpower on guarding a gate? That's just... Anyway, he's like, no, this is crazy. We're going to keep people like guarding these gates. And she's so angry because he's not listening to her reason. So she becomes upset when Ferdinand orders knights to guard the border gate and leaves for her chambers. Ferdinand ordered her to take care of like the welcoming party, and she's like, I don't want to. And it takes her retainers to tell her, no, you do need it. It's necessary to keep your name from being tainted by failure. So they kind of know how to handle her. Good on them, at least on this. If only they would do their job more often and better. Anyway. Georgine visits, telling her to prepare also a hidden room for Ferdinand before the funeral. And we learned that Dietlinde has been stalling because she assumed it would have to be in the chambers next to hers or in her same chambers. But Georgine suggests that he can use a room in the Western building. So they didn't actually state that he had to move into his groom chambers. They just said you have to move him out of the guest suite into like a room of his own so that he can make his own hidden room. So yeah. So then at that, Dietlinde is like feeling better but here's the thing, like Dietlinde is like, my mother doesn't care about my chastity. My mother doesn't care that if he comes and attacks me in the middle of the night and does the things that people do at the temple and I am ruined, like people are gonna blame me and my chastity and nobody cares about me. And Georgine's like, yeah, whatever. Georgine's like, yeah, whatever. Georgine could be a little better mother. I mean, Georgine could be a better mother, like at least try to feign that she cares about her, like what her daughter cares about.
Again, we said this earlier in the chapter.
Yeah.
This whole book is about how horrible they are at parenting because of their lack of communication.
Well, this one's more like a forced.
Oh no, this is just full on neglect.
Yeah, but like, One thing I kind of find interesting is like until this chapter, I didn't realize why it was so like a bad thing for Ferdinand to have a hidden room. It's just like, oh, okay, you get it when it's like an attached bedroom sort of thing. You know, you get the left side, I get the right side, whatever, cool. But like it until she brought it up about her like chastity and stuff like that, I didn't see the whole problem because like up till now it's just been like, yeah, I've been able to make a hidden room wherever. It's like we got one in the orphanage, we got one in Hayes, we got one like in this room, that room, like every bedroom we go to has a hidden room. So I like, to me up till this point I've been like, why is it such a big deal? And there's like weird stipulation that it has to be in your like couple's bedroom. It feels weird.
Yeah, for now, like little by little, even in this chapter, we're getting more world building. So it's one of those chapters that you get a headache reading, and you do get a lot. Speaking of which, here's a meme of like reading a Dietlinde chapter. Two types of headaches. Reading a Dietlinde point of view chapter. But we do get
it's the migraine one, isn't it?
Yeah. No, we get like the whole head hurts, not the migraine. Or maybe all of them should be reading a Dietlinde point of view chapter. We get Dietlinde. All right.
I honestly feel bad for Dietlinde, kind of, to be honest.
I feel bad for her, but I also feel like...
I don't.
It's if I didn't know what I know now, I could probably understand it now more better.
I'm putting myself, in this situation of like this volume. I'm not looking at pre-pub. I'm not looking web novel. I'm looking this volume.
No, I know, yeah. But like, yeah, in this situation, I understand because I see the neglect from her mother, how people are not explaining things to her. Like, I know that she's trying to we see her inner workings. Like, she's just so frustrated that people are not listening to her. Ferdinand could explain things, but he's just too practical, too cold. If he had maybe had the, I don't know, like he could have he couldn't have. I don't know. Like, everybody around her that can tell her the truth, they are not being like talking at her level. That's the problematic thing. If she could just understand more. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a very messed up situation.
Yes,
completely.
Yeah,
because it's like I feel like because we know Dietlinde looks like Veronica, right? There's that direct comparison that keeps getting brought up. So then we're gonna have Georgine, who is already absolutely hates her mother, has a spawn that looks exactly like her mother. Now that's going to breed contempt. You know, she's going to ostracize that child. She's going to push that child off to the side. I don't even want to see her. Let the maids deal with it, you know, whatever. I'm not even going to have those minimum tea parties that is like social etiquette to teach her stuff because I just don't want to see her fucking face.
Yeah.
Right? So now she's off on her side and she has her maids that are going to start taking care of her. And probably because we learned from Wilfried's previous chapters that we need to have retainers that are of your level or higher so they can properly tell you no. And I don't think she ever had that. That's just a suspicion of mine. But she's going to have retainers that literally can't say against her will. And she's going to be like, well, I want this, I want that. Mom doesn't want me to have this, but you can't say no to me, so go and get me it anyway. And she's going to have that stupid mentality like drilled into her all this.
Yeah.
But you look at this chapter and she's just like, look, Mom, look, I did this thing. I did. Give me frigging approval, anything. Why would you let me go? Yeah, it's
she's
like
looking for validation.
No,
yeah, and she's like, you may leave now. Get out of my fucking face. And she's just sighs. You know, that one depressed sigh says everything you need to know about Dietlinde's character. You know, she's is a poor child looking for mother's approval.
Yeah,
yes, an abused child.
And the worst thing about this is that the only person that is going to give her that what she's like longing for somebody to like take her seriously, to understand her, to just adore her, give her all the, and it's gonna be Leonzio.
Yeah, someone who's going to want to purposely twist her innocent childlike desires into something poisonous and toxic, and she's not gonna know it because she's too damn ignorant.
And he drugs her. He drugs her.
Oh my god, yes. Like,
he drugs her.
You don't know it for sure, but it was just like my mind was fuzzy, and I'm just like, you better not be drugging that child. God damn it.
There was a sweet scent. She described a sweet scent.
There was a sweet scent.
There was a sweet scent. And she leaned in closer to smell it because there was a sweet scent.
Notes.
Yeah. So we're getting ahead of ourselves, I suppose. You were
Yeah,
rushing
but,
through it, probably. You were so outraged. Okay, let's continue on the notes. Let's find that. Oh my. Look at this wall of beautiful text. Now, Dietlinde prepares for the welcoming feast. Now that she's an adult, she can actually attend. She's not going to be sent away like a child. Ferdinand is dressed in Ehrenfest colors, which Dietlinde assumes is to show that he does not have authority to make final decisions, or so he makes her believe. This feast marks the first visit of Leonzio, grandson of the current king of Lanzanav, King Schiaffredo. I hope I said it right. If not, it's Schiaffredo. I don't know. Ferdinand. Schiaffredo. Okay. Ferdinand chooses.
Is that with pasta too?
Huh?
So Alfredo. Chicken Alfredo.
Oh, chicken Alfredo. Ferdinand chooses to be near Dietlinde during the early stages of the feast, which Dietlinde assumes is normal for a man of a lower rank duchy to not look down upon her. Now, during this feast, Leonzio asks if a Lanzanav princess will be accepted this year, to which he is refused. Dietlinde believes that the Zend should change his mind and could change his mind, and Leonzio states that their country will fall to ruin if a princess is not accepted. Ferdinand is like flatly turns him down and says that the Zend's decision will not be overturned. Meanwhile, Dietlinde interprets Ferdinand's defensiveness as jealousy. I love your little notes, Crazy. Not in a million years. And chooses to listen to Leonzio's story without Ferdinand present. At least one of his retainers go, but...
So much information.
So, Leonzio explains here the formation of the country of Lanzanav and how 400 years ago, a Jugendsmith king had to choose from 3 successors that had Stab, Guttersites. One who was not chosen as the next Zend, Tolkienheit, chose to leave by sea to found his own country. He found the natives of Lanzanav and built the foundation and city with Antiquel. But as he could not breed with the natives who had no mana, he had to send females to Jugendsmith to continue the royal bloodline in Lanzanav, and so princesses are sent to the country to create new successors. So this is a lot of information. I love the fact that she kind of vaguely remembers, I remember kind of the name of this king, but I don't remember what. So she's trying to pretend that yes, she knows exactly what he's talking about. He could totally feed her lies at this point, and she will just swallow them down because she does not want to show that she does not know her history lessons. Dietlinde, you poor delusional child. So only people with Stabs can inherit foundational magic. And as the only nobles registered in Jugendsmith can obtain them, a deal was made that the princesses from Lanzanav will be sent to Jugendsmith, create children, and of all the children, only just one will be allowed to be a noble and to return with a Stab to rule as the next king or queen of Lanzanav. So we know about stuff about that happening. Of course, there's a lot of unsavory details that he skips over this. He makes it seem like everybody wins in this scenario, of course.
Oh, God.
I know. And Dietlinde, when she goes to Ferdinand to try to convince him to be on her side, he knows the whole information. He even opens, widens the panorama. It's yo, what about, okay, so yeah, you think this and that, but what about the princesses, what they suffer, what they have to go through? And she he's so upset that his eyes just kind of you can his mask slips and she knows that he is upset, and still she persists in trying to get him to understand. And she shows zero sympathy for the Lanzanav princesses, which is the worst thing she could do.
Oh my god, yeah. Let's just kill her now.
Also,
please.
I don't even think she fully understands the situation of the Lanzanav princesses.
No, I don't think she does either. I don't think she understands the
it.
implications of what actually is going on there.
Yeah, she doesn't understand that it's full on flower giving.
I want to believe that.
No, it's worse
I want to
than
believe that. But
It is straight up eugenics what they're doing there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just make babies that have
seriously.
high mana.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then only the best survive, and everybody else is literally killed off.
Mm-hmm.
But the
The
way
other
that he
ones
presents it,
are
it's like a fairy
literally-
tale. You want to go
Yeah.
and like you want to be with the royal family. You get to like, have a villa, and someone will marry you, and you'll have a child, and then they'll go back home,
That's
and everyone lives
cute.
happily ever
And what we know
after.
about Dietlinde, she's very childish. She's gonna believe
She's
whatever
so
sort of fairy tale he says
influenceable.
to her. So
Mhm.
she's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds amazing. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they love that? Like, I would
Like,
sign up."
how could that possibly bring any conflict? Like, there's no like in Detlin's mind, the king is being selfish, and is not like understanding that like
Yeah.
they made a promise
Mm-hmm.
and like they should keep it, and she doesn't understand like the whole situation. The Latenzio lied to her
Mm-hmm.
to make it in order
Misled.
to make her and since Dietlinde is such a like
Cool.
deprived child of like since Dietlinde was deprived of like any kind of like love or affection, she basically this is the first time ever that she's ever received any kind of like someone is actually actively listening to me and like taking the time to talk to me and like
Okay.
She feels validated.
Yeah.
she feels
I mean,
validated for the first time
She's
ever.
still awful, but like I can see how it got to this point. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense. It's terrible, but I also I admire her ability to be absolutely fucking delusional all the time. Like, say what you will about Dietlinde, she's the worst, yes, but she is just a delusional queen. She thinks she can be Zent. She thinks Ferdinand is in love with her.
Mhm.
She's like so delusional, and it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. So let's.
She is the master
Yeah.
of delusions.
So
Now
She
I want to
has
bring up an
convinced
interesting
herself.
comparison.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, it's just because like right now she is an individual who from her perspective sees a group of people suffering and wants to do whatever she can in this situation to fix it, right? And that individual goes to Ferdinand and begs Ferdinand, what can I do to save these people? Now who does that sound like right now?
Mine.
That sounds like someone trying to save an orphanage right now.
Yeah.
And look at how completely differently the situation is flipped on its head from that situation, you know? Because there's so many parallels. She comes, she has very limited information, and what does mine do? She tries to learn. She exposes herself to that information. Where she, in Dietlind's situation, she decides to drink the Kool-Aid wholesale and doesn't question anything. How dare you question me? We're going to do something about it. Get out of my face if you're not going to do anything, because I'm the biggest fish in this pond, and this new shiny silver fish is singing sweet nothings into my ear, so I might as well believe it, because I don't want to believe you. You're a peasant fish. Get out of my face.
All right.
Like,
thank you. Let's move on. So Dietlinde meets with Leonzio after yelling at Ferdinand and telling him to leave. She explains that she could not convince Ferdinand and that the royal family currently does not have a true Zent. So she spills all the stuff that she should not be telling them. She's basically saying like, oh, Jürgen Smith's gates are wide open. Like you can take over like whatever you want. Like she's basically saying how vulnerable Jürgen Smith is. Leonzio tells her to take his hand in marriage and he will tell her where to find the Guterres height. Meanwhile, while this is happening, there's a sweet scent permeating the room, and we know what that is. And Dietlinde agrees despite her retainers trying to stop her. She believes that this is her chance to become the next Zent. So, ooh, dang it. This is pretty bad stuff.
Dietlinde. Poor Dietlinde.
All right.
The fact that like she's still being used as a tool for the abuse that she suffered caused all of this.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna keep spiraling downwards for her.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking
It's
too
sad.
pretty.
It's not. All right. So let's go to 20. My hopes and their problems. So we have 10 minutes. We can do this. So Lisa Lita was meeting with her fiance. And of course, the fiance is like being pushy. His family got punished. And he wants her to use her connections so that Bonifacius can help lessen their punishment. But she's very uncomfortable with this. She is summoned by Elvira during her day off. And over there, while she's talking with Elvira, she basically opens up about her situation. She doesn't want to get married to the guy. She wants to follow Rozemyne. But, you know, there's several things that are keeping her back from actually joining Rozemyne. But Elvira, being the good mother that she is, she does all the things necessary, calls her dad, they have a talk, they sort things out, everything is going to be okay. And then Lizalita is now able to go once it's decided that she's free to break her engagement with the guy. Of course, at the end of the chapter, Judith is upset and sad because they promised to support each other as they were the only retainers that were staying. It just so happens. And finally, we have chapter 21, the final chapter, and it is an important one. It is Sylvester's perspective. In this one, Sylvester is, after the commotion, Sylvester is confined to a room after the funeral due to the commotion that happened during the event. He complains about the magic circle Ferdinand gave him. Due to the simplicity of the circle, he had to concentrate of not feeding it too much mana or he would become too cold. Now,
I was wrong. This is the funniest joke in the entire thing.
Yes.
Magical eagle exercises
Oh,
to maintain
that was
their
hilarious.
air-conditioned underwear. Oh my god.
Yeah, yes. Ferdinand is so cruel and so great. So,
it's so simple of a magic circle.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, he says in the chapter that he would normally have Kartstead hold a magic tool so he could talk or fall asleep. But this time he actively had to pay attention because or else he would freeze to death.
Would freeze, yeah.
In the middle of summer in Arnsbach, he would be there laughing. He would be a mockery for the rest of his...
Ferdinand Ferdinand is the Lord of Evil. So, Sylvester is invited to an inquiry held by Prince Sigiswald about the incident during the funeral. It's revealed that the knights who went rogue were originally from Ehrenfest. Now, Sylvester denies he ever knew of these knights, and Georgine uses that as an opportunity to show his incompetence at maintaining relations with sovereign nobles who were originally from Ehrenfest. Sylvester then believes that those knights might have been connected to Georgine in some way, possibly by name swearing. And also, this is really bad though, because the knights who attacked were killed immediately without being questioned or having their memory searched. You know, it's very convenient that they went rogue and now there's no way of people knowing their motives or who was behind them. So this is pretty bad. It's looking really bad for Ehrenfest. And the Sovereign Knight Commander, oh gosh, that guy, believed that Ferdinand is the one who gave the order to execute them in order to hide the information. But it turns out that Dietlinde was the one who did that order. Oh, Dietlinde! Finally, Sylvester believes that this incident might have been to help keep the knights from meeting with him. Man, there's so much going on, and this is leading us into part 5, volume 7, you guys. It's gonna be a doozy. I totally look forward to it. But before we finish this, you guys, one more thing. Your favorite parts and yeah, just what you guys enjoyed about this volume.
Okay, so you choose the order.
Let's go to Bianalina first.
I think my favorite part of this volume was definitely the Elvira and Rosemyne scene in the hidden room. It was, as you guys, I mean, we all said it. It was really vulnerable. It was heavy. And my only regret about that scene is that it was the first and probably last time that we'll ever see them interact like that.
Yeah, it really was. I love that. Thank you. Big Polymer?
My favorite from the whole book, maybe even like the whole series, was the Lizalita. That was just so cute. I thought her like confession. I love that.
Yeah, love that too. Crazy Matan.
I really like the letters from Ferdinand.
Yeah, he doesn't know the meaning of "I will overlook your." Yeah, that was funny too.
And also her expectations of Oh, I'm gonna get a very good,
Hmm.
and it turns out it was all complaints.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, tough luck there, Rozemyne. You're really gonna have to step it up. I mean, saving him from execution, getting him all these things, it's not enough. It's not enough. You have to step up your game. Man, Ferdinand. Ed Tace, what's your favorite part of the book?
I have to go with the mother-daughter part again. It just grabbed me, and I had to actually take a little break after that and reread some parts. I just loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honor Wolf, favorite part?
Hartman giving his name.
Yes. Yes, that was
part.
super funny. Yes. Fergie.
Definitely, probably the moment where she did the blessing again, and just like, oh no, my family and stuff like that, and I don't know, just
Yeah.
funny.
And the illustration and all the stuff there was also fun. Noemi.
So, my favorite part, it's hard. This is controversial. I love reading about different duchy, different parts outside the world. So I really enjoyed the Lansonave Envoy stuff. It was a lot of lore, and I loved it. I know it's not for everyone. That Lynn is a very hard character to read and stuff. But I also really enjoyed the just Clarissa, Partmut, every Ferdinand instant possible. And of course mother-daughter, oh my god, that was precious. And Lisa, the confession.
Yes.
Confession scene. Oh,
so many good chapters, really.
Oh, this book has so many good chapters. It's hard to choose, but definitely because of the lore, I have to go with
Dietlinde. Okay, makes sense.
I'm pretty sure that summarizing that Dietlinde chapter gave me psychic damage.
Poor Crazy, you are a noble sacrifice which will not be forgotten. F on the chat for Crazy. All right, Nuanel, your favorite part?
Oh, it would definitely have to be the mother-daughter moments. I was waiting about 20-odd books for that to happen.
Which one? Sorry.
The mother-daughter moment.
Oh, yes. Mother-daughter.
Rosemyne, yeah.
Yes, for sure. And again, that one was my favorite chapter as well. Mother-daughter had me crying. So, oh man, overall, it was such a good chapter, you guys. Such a good volume. And I'm so happy that you guys joined me to discuss it. Sorry we had to kind of hurry towards the end. But
cut me off
I know 7 o'clock.
Rant.
I said 7 o'clock, and we're there. So again, I hope that you guys join us for the next chit chat that we're gonna have when Part 5, Volume 7 releases in 2 months. It's a really good chapter, you guys. But I hope you enjoy it. And also I have some chit chat pre-pub, so I will try to make them available. I don't know how I'll do it. So I'll just make it available for some time so that those who are light novel readers can have access to those chit chats that we did. A huge thank you to the Ko-fi members, of course, those that are present on the chat, and those who weren't able to make it. They are all listed on the screen. So thank you all for making this happen. I feel like that PBS, and this show is brought to you by viewers like you. No, I'm serious, you guys. Every Ko-fi member makes it so that I can have more time to devote to Bookworm and to making stuff that's fun for you guys. So thank you all for really being part of this. Really appreciate it. And I think with that, we're gonna finish this chit chat. And again, thank you to everybody on the chat who joined us since 3 o'clock, at least 3 o'clock Pacific time. We've been at it 4 hours. So thank you also. And I hope you had a nice taste of what it is that we do when we have chit chats. It could have gone longer, you guys. It could have probably gone to 5 hours, I think.
It could have gone probably to 5 hours in a good 5 hours and a good 10 minutes over to
Yeah.
just the rushing
I know,
at the
I
end
know.
was horrendous.
Yes.
I have a handful of like jot notes I didn't even get to comment on.
I'm
so, yeah.
sorry. I'm so sorry, you
There's
guys,
so
but I
much
really
stuff I
have to
wanted
head on
comment
out.
on.
I really do have to head on out, but I do love you. And maybe we can do a live read of the last chapter. I can schedule one, just the last chapter
Oh yes.
or two.
I
And
will gladly read Dietlinde for
we will do
everyone.
that. We will do that. So be on the lookout for that, okay? Be on the lookout for that during the week. I will do that to make up for it, okay? We'll do a
I will
read together.
definitely read Dietlinde for everyone, so no one has to read for her. I enjoy reading Dietlinde a lot.
All right, everybody on Discord and on the chat, thank you for joining me, and thank you to all the beautiful illustrators who did all the things this time around. So yeah, take care, everybody. Love you so much, and we are done. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right.